Change my reality. Yes, indeed, family. Peace, love, and light. We are broadcasting live. Welcome to No Delay Radio. All right, this is your host, Brother Blue Pill. You are now rocking with the best. All right, we're going to be joined very soon by my co-host, Brother Red. In the meantime, in between time, I wanted to start the show off by playing a little music, you know what I'm saying, from our brother Nipsey Hussle. May he rise in power eternally. All right, I don't know how many people out there may be familiar with the brother's catalog of music. You might know him more for his interviews or for, him being in the news, you know what I'm saying? But the brother makes some amazing music, and he did a summary of his life in this song. And back in the days when I heard the song, it felt like obituary music to me. So I was always like, man, if I live to see our brother make his transition, you know what I mean? I want to utilize this song. You feel me? This song like sums up the brother's total life, and it just feels like something that's just dedicated to somebody, after they no longer with us. You dig what I'm saying? So let me just play this real quick. This is Crenshaw and Slauson.
I'm talking about anybody from the neighborhood know the real with me. He's not gonna accept you just cause you a rapper. Just cause you rap, that don't mean shit. We'll fuck you up. But because with the business and he can rap, that's the difference. Because handle the street business and the rap is a give-in. He's one of the most talented rappers I ever encountered. Look, relate to you, I can't if you's a fake nigga. With level 4 in the state, what your mistakes get you. Rap niggas, they just want to double date with you. Twit picking, show these hoes that they affiliate with you. Labels used to treating rappers like a slave, nigga. Starving artists, just be happy with your fame, nigga. Shit changed, now it's such a different game. All the niggas like myself is controlling everything. If you pay attention, see exactly what I mean. Fuck the middleman. I said that in 2003. 18, white Lincoln, chrome feet. Black 40 was my pillow every night I go to sleep. Grown niggas treat me like they OG. Holding on to every word that the tiny loaf speaks. I had a vision that nobody else could see. Sold my shit to D-Mac, a little less than 10 G's. Brought my grocery bag of cash straight to Black Sale. He matched the nigga. Next day we went to Sam Ash. Brought a Pro Tools and a microphone. Studio was warm and plush, but the lights was on. Couple $100,000 stashed at my mama's home. Real estate in Atlanta, but ain't nobody know. Back 11's in the safe, get it in the flow. My bro did it like nobody that I've ever known. Screens on every wall with 16 camera angles, double pane, bulletproof glass, pushing past the haters. Cuban links and Rolexes, money check from Epic. This industry ain't gotta like us, but they gon' respect it. Built the label up from money we was saving up. No details to the statute of limitations up. Couple niggas got flipped trying to play with us. Demonstrations speak loud, so I ain't saying much. Was a charismatic nigga, I don't play as much. This life is real when you live it in a place like us. School pictures cracking smiles, now my face is stuck. Shell shocked, see how much they really hated us. Couldn't keep a kind heart, get your hatred up. Street smarts, nigga, get your information up. Watching belly smoking blood steaks and making puffs. One day I might have a house and car like Jamaican cuz. Credits roll back to stress pound breaking up. Had to fight before we hustled, and it made us tough. Early 90s neighbors rooster used to wake us up. Mama had a bucket and a shack, but we ain't make a fuss. Blue Cutlass, no license, 380 tucks. 96 Capri, smoked the fast for saving up. And getting packed out if niggas try to fade with us. Crenshaw, Slauson, true story. So crazy.
My brother, in your prayers, send love and light to him, his family, the streets.
I met them. His homies, they was out here rapping and shit. They had these little studios and stuff. And when I met them, I walked through the studio and I asked him, man, why you ain't rapping? He told me, man, I ain't a part of their little crew. So I said, damn, what do we need? I just came home from the pen. My grandma was gonna buy me a car. And them said we need a G4 Macintosh. So instead of getting the car, I bought the Macintosh. We went to my great grandmama's garage and we learned it. We started learning pushing buttons, doing it. The one thing about Nick, he was always busy. He always has the business side. You know, that's why it's all money in. That's why he got his own label, because he's smart. He reads. You know, a lot of people want dreams, but they don't want to put their steps forward. So even after I went to the pen, after we got started, then she kept full-fledged with it. You know, he was into the street life, gang banging, putting it down. And I used to be, I'm the big homie. I'm like, man, slow down, do your music. Which he nothing. You feel me? And then she like people that do something. Whatever it is, just do something. If you want to film, film. If you want to rap, rap. But you got to do something. So like I said, and I remember we used to sell CDs in front of that t-shirt shop before we even got it. It was empty. And we used to look in that shop and say, one day we going to get this shop. And every day we'd grind it out. Some days I might make 700 and it might make 1,000 in the parking lot. You know, so from that day on, we always knew, because he gave me some discs to sell. I didn't know what to do with them damn discs. I'm fresh home from the pen. You know, then people started asking for them. So then I started selling them, started making money. One day I'm on Slauson and Crenshaw, Big Draws, Steve LaBelle. They rolled up on me. They said they wanted to hear some hood shit. So I took them up to the liquor store right up the street, got the hood shit. When I showed them that video, me and that video, their mouth dropped to the ground. And they've been on ever since. And I come home 10 years later, and this is where we at. I went to the pen when it first started. When I came home, he was $1 million buddy. That's when we was doing the video with the boy Lloyd. You know, so anybody that want to get into it, the first thing you gotta do is quit talking about it, do it. You know what I'm saying? Take step for step and do it. You know, because Nip ain't no better than the next motherfucker. He's got better work ethics. You know what I'm saying? If you got good work ethic, you can make it happen. No matter where you from, he gonna really represent this. This is what we got. You know, but now he's the avenue. So youngsters nowadays ain't gotta sit around and bang and shoot guns. They can play football, basketball, rap, sing. You got more options. When we was coming up, we didn't have options. All we knew was gang bang. So he know how to gang bang business, and he talented. So, you know, thumbs up to my bro Nipsey, neighborhood.
Neighborhood. Yes, indeed, y'all. All right. That is Crenshaw and Slauson. True story. It's the last track off of the Crenshaw mixtape. You know, my favorite out of the catalog, you know, of the music that he represents. All right. So let me bring in my co-host here. Oh man. Why is this shit got you
Peace.
with no video?
We don't have visuals?
Nope.
All right, let me go back. Let me leave and come back in. Give me a moment.
Yeah. Get it, brother, a minute. You know what I'm saying? He wants to have that visual representation in the building tonight. All right. Peace, love, and light again. If you are joining us, this is Know the Ledge Radio. Melanin Monday, episode 58, featuring Red and Blue Pill. Okay. And this is a very special and somber episode. dedicated to the life and the legacy of our brother Nipsey Hussle. All right. So again, I want to say thank you to everybody that's joining us on this evening. Get settled in. All right, we got a special presentation for you. And yeah, you and I rocking with the best. All right, good to see everybody back in the building in health. You know, that's how we prefer to see you all. Yeah, I did all of that. You know what I'm saying? I did the selection and the options and all of that for the video. We did test videos right before we went on and everything was okay. So I'm not understanding why this shit don't work on this go around. You know what I mean? All right. Chat, promote the panelists. Let me see if that'll change anything. All right. You got to change your camera angle. There you go. There you go. I figured it out. All right. Let me put this on full screen. Where there's a will, there's a way. Peace, love, and light. Once again, welcome to Know the Ledge Radio. This is Melanin Monday, episode 58. You are now rocking with the best. This is your host, the brother Blue Pill. That's your co-host over there, the brother Red.
The Red Pillar in the building. Red Pillar, smoother than chinchilla. Family, welcome to another episode of Melanin Monday 58. This is another historic episode. You are going to be joined tonight by the twin pillars, Red and Blue Pill. We're forming Voltron on this one tonight, and we're gonna lay it down. You know, on the 1st of April, 4/1.
Happy New Year.
Black to me. Happy New Year.
You know what I mean?
You know what I'm talking about?
The beginning of a new cycle.
March Madness.
March Madness. You know, we ended the year, the last day of the last year on some March Madness. And now we've ushered into a new cycle, a new year, a new beginning, right? Joined by a new ancestor, sanctified. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know I'm gonna have that candle in no time. You know, in the meantime, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have him join the Pantheon. We got the legends in the building. Feel me? Hold on. We got the legends in the building. You dig what I'm saying?
Facts.
So that brother's candle will be here in no time. So he could join the Pantheon. Sanctified. You feel me?
I got the. I'm talking about.
They
I got
said
the
requirements. The requirements for sainthood is the performance of 2 miracles. You dig what I'm saying? This is a brother who, in his lifetime, you know, defied the odds in a way in which, you know, he has transcended more than 2 miracles in his own demonstration, in his own walk. You dig what I'm saying? Like, Christ was able to defeat or defy the temptation in the desert. You know what I'm saying? This brother who lived in the valley of dry bones in LA, which is a valley in the desert. You dig what I'm saying?
Hold on.
To defy the odds and the temptation.
The city of Los Angeles.
The city of Los Angeles, right?
Yeah.
This brother was able to defy the odds, the alleged hand that has been dealt to him. You know, as 2 Chainz would say, you either rap or go to the league. Where he come from, it's either you dead or in jail. You feel me? He was able to defy those temptations, that back alley, offering that the devil make to get you back there, to trap you off, and to put you in a place where you are totally removed from grace and favor. He was able to defy those odds and literally walk on, ironclad water.
I want to put something into perspective.
And then come back into his community of dry bones as a water bearer.
Because we always have to put into context the mythos alongside the actual story that people are perceiving. Remember, what you believe, you perceive. So if you look at things from depending on your vantage point of how you look at situations or individuals or legacies, it determines on how you interpret what's taking place in front of you. Now, if this place that we identified as Los Angeles, the city of Los Angeles, right?
Facts.
You said a valley of dry bones.
Facts.
And there are biblical narratives that our people follow. And this is not necessarily me and you, but a majority of our people follow a certain blueprint or a certain source code or a certain mythos. And that's the Christ mythos. That's the Christos story. But there's also a contingency of us who understand that that story originates in a Coptic origin, namely an Ethiopian origin, right?
Facts.
So here we have it in the 400th year of the quote unquote 400-year curse on the ADOS, newly termed, because prior to that, it was colored, Negro, Black, African American, and now a new designation, ADOS. So there's a 400-year jubilee. We're on the 2019, which is the 400-year mark. There's an Eritrean, right? Eritrean Coptic individual or a persona or a young man who is at the age of 33, who's in a land, he's an African American. He qualifies to basically wear that term. For my fellow ADOSs out here, talk Black to me, right? He qualifies to wear that title because he's actually African and American, right? But
facts.
He belongs to a faction because they said that the Christ-like ones or the Christos or the ones with the Christ energy or the Christ consciousness, or they said Jesus the Christ or the Christos walked amongst and was amongst and lived amongst the quote-unquote misfits of society, the quote-unquote killers, the quote-unquote underworld, the quote-unquote strippers, and the quote-unquote bangers. Or these days they would call them the sliders, the dancers, you know what I'm saying? The swipers, the shooters. And
Oonies,
if we take a toll as to the neighborhood or the set or the area in this small enclave of Los Angeles that this man hailed from, we could come to the conclusion that not only is the gang that he represents very high on a hierarchy of power in that whole situation out there, but the set that he belonged to was revered and looked at upon as one of the highest sets. And when you do your research, they said that he was looked at as one of the highest ranking members of said set.
Allegedly, right.
Allegedly. But what I'm saying is he was he had a messianic energy to him. He has a Christ consciousness to him because what we saw take place in front of our eyes was somebody who belonged to a street organization, but was able to utilize his influence and the grace, because he went through trials and tribulations, but he also began to move with a certain grace and honor. He knew that he knew that he had a purpose.
He had grace and favor.
Grace and favor is the word that I was looking for, young man. Thank you for that. Okay.
Yes, indeed.
Grace and favor. It's grace and favor that had the marathon moving at the pace that it did. It's the grace and favor that had him link up with that young man in Starbucks, the young African by the name of Idris, who helped him open the first smart store in America on Crenshaw Boulevard. That is a feat in it of
legendary
itself. But what I'm saying is here the fact that I'm building this up, family, because y'all got y'all was eating a lot of conspiracy Cheerios since this thing happened. There's been 100 shows already done.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're gonna do tonight is we're going to eulogize the man. We're gonna peel back a few layers and unpack some things that I haven't seen unpacked yet. So here it is. Instead of reveling in his gangster persona or abusing the power of having control of deadly men and women and shooters and people who could basically terrorize at will. What did he do? He transferred that power into helping his community. Because when those babies and those little children and those teenagers and the ones that were coming up who want to get out of that life and who want to do something other than put their lives on the line for an avenue or a block that's slowly being priced out and taken from under their feet, called gentrification, they're like, yo, I could look at this man as an inspiration because he speaks the language of the streets. They say that you cannot save anybody but yourself. As people, we're so judgmental and critical about people who are not us, who we're looking at, and we're trying to judge their lives based on the way that we carry ourselves or how we think the movie should be written. But that's not how it goes. People go through transformations in their life. You don't have a reference point to say that I have evolved into a Christ-like or I have a Christ consciousness. If you don't, where's your reference point? Where are you coming from? What are you looking back on to see your growth and development? If you just hopped off the porch, you know, as an angel. So this man, Nipsey Hussle, has immortalized his legacy at the age of 33, a very young run, you know, a very young life lived.
Look,
a life that, yes.
Jesus only got 33 years. So that's a full life.
That's considered a full life.
That's a full life. If this alleged man was able to leave a legacy that people are still talking about 3,000 years later, then that's a life fully lived and fully realized. You know, this man was able to, be transcendental in such a short amount of lifetime. He lived 3 lives, right? The initial lifespan that he was born into as a son of African parents who had a different outlook and vision as to what life was, the life he was introduced to in the street, and the life that he created for himself in his imagination, right? They brought him the energy of grace and favor because he was willing to be resilient enough to never give up. He said he tried everything, right?
Facts.
His knee felt the cement. You feel me? He dropped to one knee before. He considered giving up. He said that he went through every emotion available. He exercised all of them. Failure or giving up, right, was the last one. That was the last box. That was the fucking temptation represented by the desert, by the devil in the desert. Nigga, I'm wearing you. I know you can't stand this. You don't do yoga. But yo, y'all listening, y'all ever been to yoga class? And the count be on the shit 10 and it's coming down and you can't wait till it get to 1 because you about to give up on 10 and you gotta walk with that shit. You gotta feel that pain.
Yeah,
you have to endure. You gotta pull that shit from somewhere else and your whole shit is creaking on you. Shout out to my brother Gift Davis. We went to a boxing class with him and we did like an hour of intense boxing. Shout out to Billionaire. He brought me there.
Yeah.
And brother was making us plank, and then you had to go down on planks and do push-ups, come back on one elbow, come back to planks, hold the shit, come back down on each elbow, do your push-ups. I mean, it was intense. It was intense, hard body intense.
That's right.
And that's when I was just coming down with something. I had to endure that shit. I had to pull from somewhere. I had to use my imagination to imagine myself tethered, right, to my higher source. In the book series that we used to read called The Matrix, written by Val Valerian, on Matrix 4 on the cover, they have a picture of a cloud. It looks like an egregor. And the egregor or the cloud over humanity has these tethers. It has these cords that come down from it. You have an ethereal silver cord attached to the very top of your crown. When you feel like giving up, when you're on that last push-up, when you're breaking down, when you're on that last piece and you need a little bit of inspiration, you have to envision yourself like a yo-yo getting pulled up by that ethereal silver cord, tethered to your higher form, your higher consciousness. And that's what I've utilized on several occasions. I see that this brother, his life was a manifestation and a personification of that same principle. He dig deep and found somewhere and something inside of him that allowed him, that last drip, that last piece, that last breath, that last set, you know what I'm saying? To break through the threshold and get over and get into that place where grace and favor now can visit you. You've reached the mountaintop, you've transcended it. Faith and grace and favor is like in the ionosphere. It's a little bit of buzz the motherfucking atmosphere.
That's
So
right.
you get sprinkled with that pixie dust of grace and favor, and it's your cup
You
runneth
shining.
over. You shining. And it's on
Shining.
you whether you can keep that to yourself or you could come into your hood and replenish the valley of dry bones and give it to others.
Because
Tomorrow on Tough Talk Tuesday, me and brother Ken Brinson, we really gonna get into the metaphysics of this because this is the same conversation that we had with y'all last Tuesday. Same conversation.
but this is the same conversation that I had with them last Monday because I was mourning the death of Tech Nine. And I was speaking about the importance of legacy. And I was also reflecting about the movie Us.
Yes.
And I was pointing out all of the comparisons and all of the synchronicities in the movie about San Juan being St. Croix, the character's
Santa
name
Cruz,
is Red,
Santa Cruz, you
Santa
mean?
Cruz being St. Croix, the character's name being Red, the doppelganger aspect, the twin aspect,
twinning, yes.
Twinning, the 1111, all of these things. But then what I really wanted to touch on was the multiple meanings and the layers about us, because us is not one layer. Our brother KT the Arch Degree, who is an architect and he is a master decoder, he actually did the Us Decoded on his Patreon. KT the Arch Degree Patreon. Go and search the name and you'll see his page. And the breakdown is in 2 parts. It's one of the best breakdowns that you can ask for of a higher realm. But what I picked up in the movie when I saw the Us and they talked about the tethered, okay?
Yes.
I was like, well, the tethered, that's easy for me. And when I see the character named Red, even though I could say, oh, that's Red Pill and that's a comparison. No, what I saw in Red is the red chakra. What I saw in the tethered ones was your shadow self. What I saw in the tethered ones in the movie Us, because it's about us and it's about us being able to come to terms with the danger that us represents to us. So the tethered ones would represent you niggas and us. I'm putting me in the pot. And our shadow selves. Who are your shadow self? Your shadow self is the person who you are at war with every single day. The shadow self is the mother. The shadow self is the Hulk that Bruce Banner tries to keep within. The shadow self is the self-sabotaging, self-hating, self-destructing Agent Smith that everybody has that exists inside of you.
Judas is tethered to Jesus.
To Jesus. Judas is tethered to Jesus.
Jesus is tethered to Judas in the mythology, because without no Judas, guess what?
There is no Jesus.
There is no
This
Jesus.
is a world of dualities.
No death, there's no resurrection.
You live in a world of
right.
You live in a.
He sent. Hold on. He sent the nigga up and made him a legend.
That's right.
Without no Judas,
he immortalized them.
Immortalized them.
He immortalized them. You are tethered to your killer your whole life. Did you ever read that? All of my Gnostics out there, all of my deep niggas, all of you conspiracy theorists, you tethered to the person who's gonna take your life
forever.
Forever.
Y'all are doing an eternal dance.
People only do the investigation when someone gets murdered to find out who murders them. Rarely do they do the investigation about the life of the murderer and the life of the one that they murdered.
Yeah,
and to
the
see
trajectory. How did they meet those points?
See how they see the quantum entanglement in their storyline or their timeline. You're connected to the person that's going to knock your block off. That's why the majority of people get murdered by motherfuckers close to them, because you're tethered to the person who's ultimately going to cut your cord. Facts. So let's go. That's not even, I'm just scratching the surface. Let's take it a little bit further. Like I said, in this species that we belong to, called the new designation is ADOS, right? I'm getting comfortable with that, but I like to play with the name a little bit. You know, I like to say, what if I'm a American descendant of a sovereign? You know, I can say that. I can say that.
Remix.
I can say that because I actually went to the Americas and I saw an estate that belongs to my bloodline, my family. It was bigger than Harlem.
Facts.
That is a factory. That's on my.
How a slave had 500 acres in paradise.
I ain't talking about a house, my niggas. I'm talking about an estate in paradise where you got to take a boat to come see me. Fuck is you talking about? That's blood. That's genealogy matters. Hashtag and all of that. So, like I said, we are these ADOSs. Instead of black on black crime, it's ADOS on ADOS crime. Instead of being Negroes, coloreds, and blacks and African Americans, thanks to Jesse Jackson, now niggas are saying we ADOS. Okay, so that's what it is. But do the ADOS realize that we have the us principle working against us, that we are tethered to a part of ourselves who live in the underworld, who live underneath us, who live in a subconscious realm, who fuck like rabbits, you understand? Who self-sabotage and try to come above ground and take us over. And that's the person who is the one who is the self-destruct. That's the saboteur. That's the destructive one. That's the one that's constantly trying to kill you, that you're on the run from. You're running from yourself. You're running from your shadow self. Men, you know what I'm talking about. Women, you know what I'm talking about. But then it goes even further, because in our community, we are tethered to the lowest parts of ourselves and our community, part of our quote unquote, you know what I mean? The collective that they just threw us in, hands across America. They made all you niggas hold hands and become one. And it wasn't like that before. We had designations. Niggas had sections. It was bottle service back in the days. You couldn't come in our section. You couldn't eat with us. Yeah. Niggas couldn't sit with us. What is you talking about? It was tribes and clans and shit like that for reasons. Niggas had coats of arms. This is a coat of arms. You feel me? This was the coat of arms. People wore certain kind of precious stones and metals and shit like that. Niggas, we wave certain flags for a purpose. Family clans, tribes, bloodlines, lineage, genealogies, like what you see in that Eritrean. The fact that when you go to Eritrea and when you go to Ethiopia, why does everybody look alike? Because they telling other niggas you can't sit with us.
Facts.
Even with Italy going over there and raping them with Mussolini through the World War II.
Mm-hmm.
They have been able to maintain their quote unquote bloodline and their genealogy and their phenotype.
Phenotypes, right. Very protective. They're very cliquish.
Very. They're not just letting anybody in.
Nah, you're not getting in like that.
So here it goes.
Some of the oldest, most ancient and archaic, right? Very interesting phenotypes. Please continue.
Very interesting phenotypes and very ancient knowledge and very king-like and very Christ-like, because I promise you, that is the land of the royal bloodline. Go to Ethiopia and look for yourself. Go to Eritrea. Go find out for yourself. Those people are royal to this day. That's Selassie, God damn it.
Factory.
That's Menelik. They were never defeated. They were never conquered, nigga. That's Wakanda. So we're tethered to our lower selves. Our lower selves are the people. as a collective, we're beautiful people, right? Melanin is popping. The shit is electric. We're going to get into that in a minute, too, about the article that I put up about the scientists finally coming forward and saying melanin is electric. How Sabi is being certified and verified and dignified in the afterlife. And I'm going to show you spiritually how Baba Sabi is at work on many different higher planes. He is moving the pieces. You could play with it if you want. You could get upset because Sabi's name is in the news and is tied to a conspiracy. Dr. Sabi did not do that because he's not here right now, but he's here in the spirit. So if Sabi is trending on Twitter, you niggas get upset about that. That just goes to show how corny and weak, you know what I mean, and how hateful and jealous some of you niggas who are tethered in the demon or the egregor or the
because the nigga that killed Nipsey, he got a bloodline, right? So that's that 7 deadly sins. That's that lower frequency. That's that root, like he said, that root chakra. Them niggas is tethered. You know what I'm saying? That's the motherfucking enemy that we fighting. Real fucking talk. Because even the creation of the devil, it had to be motherfucking, Yaku had to precisely cut some of that motherfucking scum off, right? The shit that rises to the top, that foam that you motherfucking pull off, like they was created from that shit. So the origin of them, they daddy is that nigga. And what did they do? They created motherfucking farms to pull that nigga up out of you. And now he's running fucking wild, right?
That's right, because the germ inside of your body, the germ man, the aspect of you that would be in that underworld with Red and the rest of them, that would be the European blood more than like.
Did you know that people, because I wouldn't even call them humans, the species that they identify as human beings are primary bacteria, secondary human being? Do you need me to explain that? So when we talk about the germ man, right? Mm-hmm. Homo sapiens sapien,
okay,
for the lack of a better term, is primary bacteria. There's more bacteria cells that exist on you than anything else. So you're primarily germ. You're primarily bacteria. Your secondary tissue, organs, and all that other shit that you use to designate yourself as a human. You are a host to bacteria, nigga. That's who and what you are. Not just you, but any and every motherfucker else on the planet. You are primary. You're all Germans.
We're
all Germans.
Okay.
Okay, you're all German.
Facts. So the Neanderthal blood that a lot of people may have within them from the quote unquote scum of Europe, the lowest rungs of society in European culture, the indentured Slavs, the slaves, the Slavs, the ones that were designated to be wrapped in chains. These Europeans from the Caucasus Mountains and from the quote unquote the Scottish, the Irish, from Ireland and all over Europa. That blood, the bloodline of those people who were coming to America and infecting healthy plant-based diet, eaters,
right,
with all kind of airborne diseases that came from fornicating with foreign animals.
Right. Disease on contact, right? By coming into contact with Europeans immediately. The shit that they telling you about in Rockland County with the measles, these niggas naturally had that disposition to knock a whole fucking populace out with their putrefaction.
With the putrefaction.
Their pestilence.
Go and get the PDF dirt.
Right? Their pestilence.
Their pestilence. You know what I'm saying? Guns, germs, and what's the name of that book? Guns, Germs, and something else. I have that as well on PDF. If y'all want it, hit me up on my inbox. There's no inbox here. Don't leave your email out in the open. Hit me on my Instagram in my DM. You know the Instagram is L_Filthmore, PHIL.
Right. EL_Filthmore.
Like Elohim, EL_PHILTH as in Thomas, MOOR as in more land, as in more land, as in more land, as in more than a check. How about that? As in more than just a handout, as in claiming not just the land, but the billions of dollars of precious metals, the trillions of dollars of precious stones, the billions of dollars of fresh water, the trillions of dollars of produce and crops. All of this is my land. All of this is grown within, all of these mountains are ours. These quote unquote forests, these lakes and oceans, these are ours. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Y'all niggas better break that curse. We're gonna get into that. You better break that curse. Y'all out here looking crazy. And we have a problem in our community. We are tethered. Our angels are tethered to archangels. The gods are tethered to the devils. And the niggas are tethered to the Nagas or the Neguses. Nipsey was a Negus, my niggas. How about that? How about where he's from in Eritrea? They call it the kings in Eritrea, Negus. How about he carried himself and he was transforming himself and he was evolving into a Negus from a nigga. You niggas are comfortable in your woke position. You have no right to judge when you just woke up last week after watching you know, the Chappelle show. You just ran into some shit that woke you up.
Boondocks.
A Boondocks rerun got you niggas online.
A Boondocks rerun on a late night on Adult Swim got you niggas woke. And you want to tell people who've been in the game, the clip that I just played, right? Homie said, I went home for 10 and I came home and my niggas was on. The Slauson mixtape was from like 2013. So this is my 10-year anniversary, right? What we did with Nipsey was 10 years ago. So you're talking about somebody that collectively put in almost 20 years to just put out his first CD of consistency on his grind, fully, you know, going independent, doing the mixtape grind, bringing new ingenuity to the industry by showing artists how to get rid of the middleman and boss up. Real fucking talk. Not that shit that some of these other people be talking about on YouTube when they talk about bossing up. Even people from the hip hop industry be talking about really bossing up.
Niggas be talking about bossing up with a boss. Still got some cracker, you know what I mean? Cutting you, you know, telling you what to do and when to do it. Still saying yes, sir.
So this is a marathon and not a sprint. You know what I'm saying? Our young people are somewhat intimidated by the time factor to be like, yo, if I don't got this by this age, I ain't gonna be on. You know what I'm saying? I didn't make it, I'm a failure. My nigga, like, listen to the irony in that. We wasn't promised to live to see 21. So anything that we do past that motherfucking age that was not promised to us, how could we ever be failures at what? What are you gauging yourself by? Now, that don't give you a reason to be lazy. I'm just saying, don't measure yourself by those same motherfucking standards. If you already made it past, you know, what was promised and designated to you, the grave that they already had dug for you, if you bypass that altogether and you sleepwalking outside of the fucking graveyard, my nigga, you know, and later on in life, you happen to, you bump into a wall and you woke now and you just realize that you tethered, right? The same way that the mummy has to untether himself by the wrappings, taking all that shit off. That's your past. That's representative of your past. Those are the things that hold you back. The shit that you was born into, where they telling you about slavery and all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Come up out of all of them motherfucking wrappings. See yourself as a Negus. You know what I mean? Who was you before that? This man tapped into his motherfucking ancestral greatness and was manifesting that shit right here on this motherfucking soil to show you what that shit looked like in real fucking time, right? Utilizing all of the things that was given to him, taking his motherfucking hand and turning that shit into a royal flush. Talk to me.
That's right.
You gonna put some respect on his name.
Put some respect on his name.
His last name in particular, because I be goddamn, that man was one hell of a hustler. I am totally inspired as an entrepreneur. I want to apologize to my customers. I've been bullshitting. I gotta get my act together, right? I'm going through a reformation right now. This is the first day of the new year. I'm reborn. I have to do things totally different. My whole life was put into perspective last night. I was standing in the Apache Cafe, a stage that I performed in at the very first time in 2011 with our brothers KB, the Arts Degree, KB, the Ghetto Shaman, KT, the Arts Degree, Dice was with us. Who else was with us? Um, who else was on that bill? Amon Ra,
I'm on
right?
Ra.
The Secret Chiefs, the Return of the Super Hey Rules. When we first started recording music in 2011, I believe it was, the very first venue we was blessed to perform that was SOBs at the Zulu
Facts.
anniversary, performing before the creators of hip hop themselves. We got the blessings from them. I remember like the shit that knocked me out when the brother from Poor Righteous Teacher, what's his name? Wise Intelligent,
Wise Intelligence.
was running up to Red reciting his bars. Like there's nothing like you can't cut me a check to come motherfucking equal that feeling.
Word.
There's no fucking check that can equal coming off stage and having the architects of hip hop be like, yo, y'all got it next. You dig what I'm saying? In the next venue that we performed
Blue.
in, yeah,
Now your screen had froze for a minute.
the next stage that we got a chance to bless and perform on was Apache Cafe here in Atlanta. You dig what I'm
Facts.
saying? So I'm in the back of Apache Cafe when I get the news. I'm set up. I'm vending. I'm on my Chef Pablo shit. You know what I mean? I'm feeding the people. I'm in the belly. It's the last night that this venue is open. It's coming to a close. Cycle ending. Last day of the fucking last of the ending of this year of 2018. In the back of our mind, for the people that hold April 1st as the beginning of a new year, you still holding that demonstration. You know what the fuck I'm talking about. You understand? So it's the last day of the cycle. We're marching out of this shit, ending and going into this new cycle, this month of Nisan in the Hebrew calendar, what they call this new year. Because in their calendar, April is the first. So I'm standing there and I get this news. I have to recalibrate myself and deal with this shit because I'm dealing with food. I'm dealing with energy. I look across from me. There's a brother standing up who has this on. I see the spiraling of it, right?
Yeah. That's fire.
I see the spiraling of it. I'm thinking, this whole serpentine energy, death and transformation is a Scorpio trait. We embrace it and we understand it. I just had to recalibrate myself. The brother looked up and see me. He was like, "Oh shit, it's the blue pill." So me and him start talking. I'm like, "Yo, you got another one of those, or can you make one for me? I really need that energy. This is Chrysocola right here. Chrysocola." He said, "Yo, you could buy this one off of me because I don't have another one, and if I make it for you, it won't be tonight." My heart was shattered, right? I had a hole in my heart based on the grief. I said, "I need that joint from you right now." I got my sage ready so I could clear it. He said, "Yo, I normally sell it for 60, but you could pay me what you want." The irony hit me. He didn't even know that I was what I was going through with Nipsey because they hadn't announced it on the speaker yet. I'm like, "Son is from the Rolling 60s." I was like, "Nigga, I'm gonna pay you $60 right now." That's spiritual. That's spiritual. The minute I put that shit on, it started realigning me. You feel me? So this is forever going to be my piece that consecrates that man's transition and the memory thereof. And the serpent is to remind you that death and life are intertwined. It's a cycle. You feel me? It's a cycle.
Right.
The fucking snake biting his tail. So that man has already been resurrected. There's already 100 nips on the way.
That's
You
a
feel me?
fact. That's a fact. You know, I was doing my live. I was on Instagram live yesterday, like 5 o'clock. I was supposed to go hit the streets, but something told me, yo, just do it live. Like, talk to the people.
Because you had just came the day before from the dedication of Allah, right?
Allah,
Master
yeah.
number 7. What was
Master number
yesterday's
7.
date, though? I'm gonna let you walk yourself through it. Go ahead.
Yesterday's date was 331
Add that up.
7. So
Allah.
yes,
Continue.
They gave the School of Allah their own street sign in Harlem on Saturday, and the streets were packed. The gods and the earth were out there commemorating that victory, because to have that done in 2019 New York City, where this is a city for the uber rich and uber wealthy, and they're basically cleansing the black population,
and the weirdos.
So to have a sign called the Street of Allah and Justice, that was a big thing right there. And then the next day, you know, I get this news while I'm on live, and I was shocked. But I had the family send healing energy, because remember, there was about a 10-minute or a 15-minute window between him being shot and the news about him not making it come out. So we had a window. So I had the altar already set up. Something told me prior to doing the show to start setting up the altar with the sacred stones. I'm talking about rocks from the Rock of Gibraltar. You know what I mean? I'm talking about altars with rocks from the Rock of Gibraltar. Not no regular altar, not no candles. We've surpassed that. So I decided to start making these sacred altars with the rocks, the sacred stones that are in alignment with my DNA and my lineage and my bloodlines. So I was sharing with the family. I didn't even get into the conversation about the fact that we're gonna start taking some trips and going into these caves. Niggas talk big shit about white people coming out of caves. They got a lot of smoke for the cave people, not realizing that it's millions of dollars inside the caves.
Right, mineral wealth.
Mineral wealth is that's what the damn caves are, man. What are you talking about? They came out of their caves in Europe and came in and got rich out of your caves. They turned it to
right. And now you talking shit, but you live in caves in the city, because that's all an apartment is.
That's all an apartment is. It's a fucking cave. Now
you niggas is paying them rent to live in caves, and they live in the forest where your folk come from. This fucking place, like everything's. So my definition of teethering, right? I put a post up yesterday. Shout out to my brother Nadi. Interestingly enough, right? Like I said, the business endeavor that I was involved with in 07, 08, from 07 to 09, where we had a Nipsey's project over at Epic. It was me, Majesty, Danny, and a brother named Nadi who dealt with all the graphics. Nadi now does graphics for Devitt Grace, and he's like a part of the shifters still. You know, right? So the brother's still in the mix. Flatbush you, Haitian you know what I'm saying? My man.
Flatbush, stand up.
Right? So Nadi put a post up about Mozambique, right? And there's 3 other countries involved that are being flooded now on the continent, right?
Yeah.
Ain't nobody posting about that. Ain't nobody send prayers to Mozambique. But if the shit was France, energy, right? All of my fucking timeline, I would have to see French flags. Now, not French colonies, not Haiti, not Senegal, not places where French has colonized, do motherfuckers give 2 shits about. But if it was France, right? If it was the Fascis, if it was France, you would see the fucking flags. But Mozambique can't get no love. So my theory was that the tethered is the fact that the ADOS are tethered to their African ancestry, but they keep that shit in the basement and they don't let it come to the surface. And the only reason and the only way that they dust it off and they parade it out in public is when fucking Black Panther 2 comes out, niggas could dust off their dashikis. But every other fucking day of the year, right, they're Africans are pledging their allegiance to Americanism in each and every way possible, to a degree where the shit has become so putrid that they've packaged it and they've sold it as an export around the world, okay? And our cousins everywhere else think this is the wave, so they got on it. So you could go to any fucking corner and they Tatianas in every fucking corner of the planet, when that's not right. Our culture, tradition, or our custom, or our creed. That's not who we are. You understand? But the niggas made it so. So the niggas put the African aspect of themselves in the closet, locked it in the basement, And then they want to play American all day, and not the indigenous aspect of it either, right? You know, so I was thinking about Nip because I'm like, well, here's a brother that wears his Africanness on his sleeve, and he's still able to do the American shit. He's still with the shits, right? Right? He still has a hierarchical seat in nigga kingdom, but he's very much Negus, very much to a degree where it exudes him. And during his ascension, like I said, my time in '07 to '08 was dealt with proselytizing a blue African, African that was banging blue. That would be Barack Obama. When I was selling the t-shirts in Harlem, I introduced the Obama merchandising to Harlem in '07. After I met that man in the Brooklyn Marriott, I was convinced that he was going to be president. I brought his t-shirts up there so I could break the color barrier. I said, nigga, money's green. I'm not standing next to Sinettas with bullhorns scaring away tourists that got money in their hands. I went to the Apollo across the street, set up shop, and made buku cash selling Obama tees to the fucking tourists. Then I got jumped by the boys in blue, where I had to fight off 8 to 10 police in front of the Apollo, right? Then I go downtown, meet up with motherfucking Bang Out. He introduced us to Johnny Shipes. Johnny Shipes got Nipsey as an artist. We start banging out for this brother from the West Coast who represents blue, and he's an African, right? This is '08 now, '07, '08. We leave, make
That's a
Street
fact.
Knowledge TV in '10, January '10. You know what I'm saying? Become the flagship, open up fucking shop for a Brooklyn nigga to come who's banging blue, right? Who has an African disposition, and that's Brother Polite. Ex-Crip Superior with a whole motherfucking Nigerian energy to him. And not only, just the what's that tribe in Nigeria? Egbo? Or,
Igbo.
yeah, Igbo, but the nigga's a Nigerian scammer too. What's up, like? So all of this while I'm transitioning to this whole aspect of the blue pill, because I went from Morpheus to P Morpheus to P More to blue pill. You understand? And I'm just observing and watching this shit, how this flagship that we have created in this movement that we have been involved with, you know what I mean? And even the whole fact that this is also 10-year anniversary of Blueprint 322. The conversation that started a lot of this shit. They created the tidal wave that ultimately would give you 444 and the rest of this shit. I'm not hiding my fucking story no more. You know what I'm saying? My shit front and mainstream. I'm telling my fucking story. I have an immaculate 10-year anniversary. I don't know about what the fuck the Jubilee gonna do. I don't know how these niggas gonna celebrate their 400 years. But my 10-year anniversary, yeah, I'm gonna tell this story, and it's a glorious one. So, even in his 10-year anniversary, Mike Jackson, this is his 10-year anniversary. He went from angel to archangel. Took him 10 years, but he got here, right? Let him go arch. Because if you niggas is waiting on the return, right, on the biblical sense, if Jesus got to come, God damn it, Archangel Michael is the one that leads the legions here to fuck shit up before Jesus even comes for the resurrection. So Christians, I'm appalled. I'm surprised at you niggas that you can't see the fucking prophecy playing out. Get out of the way, my nigga. Get out of the way. This shit has shaped up to be some amazing astrological, numerological, biblical occurrences just in the first 3 months leading up to the 4th month of April. You know what I'm saying? So what we want to do is we want to admonish this brother's life and his legacy because, I wholeheartedly believe that because of the grace and favor that he represented, that we have now acquired a new saint amongst us. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop has a pantheon of saints.
It
You feel
does.
me? This is a divination system. This is a
It is
pathway.
You got to put them on candles, family.
Put them
These
on
hip
candles.
hop stars or these hip hop artists are this is a divination system. They have a divination energy.
Got that energy.
They got that
messianic
energy.
force.
I promise you.
Right?
I promise you. If you watch American Gods,
we're gonna get into fuck your liturgical definitions, your puritanical definitions of what you think
or your
messianic
Christianized
force, your
definition.
Christianized definitions, your canonized definition of what you think deific force represents, or messianic force, goddamn it.
Facts.
Right? If Clarence 13X came forward and told you all of you niggas is God, if Elijah came forward and told you the black man is God, goddamn it, then you don't need to fit your motherfucking precepts of what you think Christ is. These niggas got Christ-like energy. These niggas have messianic force. These motherfuckers have transformed in real time, in their lifetime, right before our eyes, right?
And immortalized themselves. They completed the mission, and the mission is not to what people may think. Oh, he didn't get to save the people, or he didn't get to build a school with Umar, or he didn't get to finish the Sabi documentary, or listen. He immortalized. He's an immortal. He's in the Mount Rushmore of immortalized individual. He doesn't have to come back. He is immortalized. So when you strip away all of the emotions and everything, the conspiracies, that's a lot of stripping, because you niggas have made your minds up that you're gonna ride this shit into victimhood on down victimhood highway and try to squeeze some coins out of the people or something. You feel me?
And let me tell you why this is dangerous, if I have a moment.
Yes.
Right?
Get into that.
Because it allows people to fall into a level of fear where they feel that whatever they're willing to risk and do is not worth the reward. God damn it. You should be proud to motherfucking die on your feet.
That's right.
Shit is not for the pussies. All right. This ain't people. It's not for people that's looking to fucking live until you 110, my nigga. Leave your stamp. Create a fucking ripple. Right? Death is promised to niggas before they reach 21. And you pass that, going into your 30s and your 40s, and you still fucking trying to hold on to something. Go fucking hard. Leave it on the motherfucking court. Now, yes, the man lost a family. He lost babies and shit. But Tupac died at 25. Niggas in the hood is going at 16 and 17. Right? Squeeze every motherfucking ounce of it that you can and leave nothing to chance. Every single day like it's your last. And your ass would not be motherfucking complaining if you left here, but what you left behind is going to last forever. That's what we're talking about. The man left something behind that will last forever. He left an impression amongst the impressionable that will leave impressions forever.
That's right. Now, the Tupac comparisons are going to become, you're going to hear those. I'm going to put it on a record before that conversation even begins by controlling the narrative and saying that those comparisons have legitimacy. They have the most legitimacy out of many of the quote unquote fallen messiahs. That nigga, that's him. He adds up his credit. We ran his credit and his shit was approved.
Yeah, he had A1 credit. His shit was 800 on the credit score.
Credit. Do not.
Right? He could buy a city with a signature, nigga.
Listen, his credit is good. The Pac comparisons is not to replace Tupac. It's to identify the fact that it's true what you niggas said and what your master teachers had told me on a late night on YouTube one day, that energy never dies. And niggas don't die, that we multiply. So if niggas don't die, they multiply. What the fuck do the Nagas do? And what do the Neguses do? They turn into supernovas, and the 100 monkey theory is in full effect. When you sacrifice, or when you martyr a god, or when you martyr one of the American gods, or when you martyr somebody and immortalize them in a city of lost angels, right? And you assassinate them and murder them.
A city incorporated on April 4th on the 33 parallel at the age of 33.
We were
at
just
the time when you got 3.3 million Instagram followers. His threes is crazy. Go ahead.
Yeah, a lot of threes. We were just in Las Vegas, and they pointed it out to us that Las Vegas is not just a desert. It is the bottom of an ocean.
Bottom of the ocean.
It's the bottom of the ocean in a valley surrounded by mountainous regions.
Right.
And the water's gone. So it happens to be a desert. But that desert is a very magical place. When I did the live stream yesterday, I was talking about all of the wealth that's in the grounds or the mountains or the outskirts of a California in places such as that, these indigenous places where all of you ADOSs are dwelling, right? So I was talking about the richness of said land and the concept of ownership goes way beyond just owning a brick and mortar or a website or a store of products. Ownership is about owning the land that you stand on and benefiting and profiting from it, because so many of us are dying on top of it for peanuts and pennies, sneakers and Jordans and, you know, all of these nigga trinkets that do nothing for us. That has not propelled us into any powerful positions. It's nothing worth dying for. We're not standing for much. So in the bookend year of 2019, which if you go with the script, if you agree to the quote unquote mythos, if you niggas identify with the code that they wrote out and said there's a 400-year curse, are we witnessing cursed behavior in our culture? You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Are we witnessing the fact that it's us doing us a disfavor, us, the lower selves of us, the knuckle dragger aspect of us, the parts of us that turn into the killer, the parts of us that turn into a hater, the parts of us that turn into jealous niggas, the parts of us that turn into fuck boys and fuck and you know, what do they call the girls, the version of Tatiana? Okay,
hey,
you know what I'm saying?
Party.
Tatiana. Those aspects of ourselves are our tethered selves. That's the part. That's Lupita with the rabbit, nigga. That's red in them. You cannot deny that. That is your shadow self. People have to tap into their shadow self to survive in this quote unquote cold world, this dark world, this underworld that we find ourselves living in. Nigga, we in the tunnel. You niggas act like you above ground at the fucking roller coaster ride. You're not even there. You in the tunnel with the rabbits.
Tunnel, nigga.
Nigga, you in a tunnel, and I'm not talking about where Funk Flex and them used to spin records. Talk black to me. You in a tunnel. You're in the underworld.
Yeah. You in a tunnel, nigga.
Nigga, we live in deaf culture. We exist in deaf culture. We're part of the underworld. You niggas said that hip hop is dead, and you woke up in the motherfucking Amenta. You don't think you're in the underworld? You don't think that this is us? And I ain't talking about that show on Channel 4, NBC, nigga. This is us, the tethered ones. And your doppelganger from Africa don't fuck with you like that. And he's dying to take your place. He's gonna chase you. He's ready to chase you down like how they pulled up in the driveway and try to run them crazy bald heads out of town. They asked him, who are you? They said, we Americans, knowing that they're not. They're the doppelgangers. You have doppelgangers. You got people who look like you. You got people who look like you. They look crazy when you look at them closely sometimes. They're not you. We're talking about us. So us is killing us. So ADOS is killing ADOS. It's not imported killers coming into this country. They're not coming across the border and gunning us down like that. Not the way that the tethered ones are tethering the tethered. So the lower self, when you talk about gang culture, nigga, the little nigga YM Melly killed his friends, his best friends. He's been rewarded by going #1 on the charts while he sits in jail awaiting a murder case that people can't wait to sensationalize. But they love his song. His shit blew up. It's called Murder on My Mind, right? I'm gonna show you how the markings of how we are in a deaf culture and you niggas are tethered to your lower selves And that's the shit that's destroying us. That's the fucking curse. You niggas don't want to talk about the curse. The curse is in full effect. That's what we seeing with the Nipsey shit, and that's what you niggas are scared to talk about.
Yeah,
you painting this shit with conspiracy theories, but you
you,
never talk about the curse.
You want me to
never
give
talk
you a
about dealing
walkthrough?
with the real shit.
You want me to give you a walkthrough from December to now? Because this is building up my narrative, right? So let's talk about how niggas you ain't protecting the grannies. You ain't protecting the women, right? The Jasmine attacks that took place with the young girl Jasmine that got killed in Houston.
What does Jasmine stand for?
Jasmine stands for flower, right? And the woman is synonymous.
Of jasmine.
The jasmine is synonymous with flower, should I say, is synonymous with a woman. My grandfather taught me that you treat a woman likened unto a flower. Hence, the terminology that you deflower her, right? So a woman is likened onto a flower. So jasmine, which is Arabic for flower, can be looked at as woman. The fact that in December we had a situation in Houston where the drive-by killed the young girl, the 7-year-old. Her name was Jasmine, right? Killed in the drive-by. Initially, the suspects were white. They said that they was white men, right? The mother pulled a Juicy Smollett on them. Said that her attackers was white. Come to find out they was gangbangers. Not only was they gangbangers, one of the assailants' name was Black Junior, right? Just for measure, okay? Niggas ain't say a peep, right? Niggas ain't call for their head. They ain't say nothing. They said that they was framed, but you still ain't press the pavement and come back with the motherfucking head, the helmet of the cracker. Who did it then? Right? And this is that Houston energy. We're gonna get back to that. Shorty and McDonald's, who had to fight the fucking Neanderthal off at the counter. She was to be protected by the melanated men in her circumference. They fell back and they was pulling her off instead of motherfucking hitting this nigga with bows and all that other slick shit that they be seeing on WWE. You dig what I'm saying? They ain't pull none of that out the motherfucking back pocket to try that out on the troglodyte. But he's dragging her and she got to defend herself and put the 50 cuffs on her. Luckily, she had hands. So she was able to show the world in real time, look, the jasmines, the flowers, the women's, they're going to have to defend themselves because niggas is not motherfucking breaking no nails for you. Okay? Then January 6th, well, December 31st, when we practiced the new year, ironically enough, because today's the new year, when we practiced the fiscal new year or the ancestral, if niggas was tethered to the African comedic aspect of themselves that they love fucking talking about, then they would know that December 31st is when Sirius, the star system, right? The dog star, the female dog, she's a bitch. Her name is Osset, or Isis, as you niggas call her. She sits at her highest point, okay, on December 31st. Okay, her midnight culmination at her highest point is when she's sitting up there. She's observing everything. She's synonymously or symbolically represented by the ball that drops in Times Square on 42nd Street, right? Dealing with them cubes and them squares. We'll get back to that. So that's what she's represented by. On January 6th, she was joined in that in her exalted place by the M44 cluster, which is the Beehive cluster in Cancer. So this is Cancer synonymous with mother. So this is Big Mama. Big Mama and Mama was sitting up in the highest exalted station of the motherfucking solar system, observing her children on Earth, looking at surviving R. Kelly and all of the conversations that came out of that. So the nigga energy took over the timeline where grown men was saying, fuck them little girls. I don't give two shits about them. The bitch was asking for it.
That's
you know
what they were saying.
Yeah. As soon as that little bitch is bleeding, I'm ready to bust her down. She's a Tatiana. Okay.
Bust down.
And then while niggas was fake niggering outrage about these young women, and Tatiana became the #1 song in the country, a song glorifying busting down young women, gangbanging them, and introducing them to the very culture which will create the pedigree and the level of the young lady, or synonymous with the level of what they're doing to them young ladies that R. Kelly's doing that y'all fucking just was complaining about. So it's pure hypocrisy. And then the girl that got assaulted in Atlanta nightclub, got raped on camera, her name was Jasmine.
So
it comes in threes. The universe already gauged you at the beginning of the cycle to say, you niggas ain't ready. Y'all not protecting the women. You're not protecting the grandmas, right? And then now you're not fucking protecting your messiahs. So the babies is dying. The women is dying. The grannies ain't protected. And you niggas is not protecting your fucking messianic forces, right? But this is the Jubilee year. But you niggas think that you're going to get the motherfucking keys to the mansion. You niggas want reparations as if you've been free. How long you been free? Please tell me. You got to get fucking freedom before you get reparations, nigga. Niggas ain't free. You are forever tethered to that lower aspect of yourself that you have not broke bondage from. Okay? And that's what the universe is observing over and over and over. So what befits a befallen people to this fucking level and decree? They're saying they won't even lift a finger to break a fingernail to defend who and what. Right? So this man who dies with Leo energy, where's the fucking Leos amongst us? Where's the kings? Because melanated people are not synonymous with fucking Leo energy. They're synonymous with Cancer energy, Cancerian energy. The cancers, what? What do the cancers do? What do crabs do?
They keep other crabs down.
So if you are a multi-Grammy nominated individual in your community, and I don't by any means say that our brother was at fault for supporting members of his community or you know, revisiting his past or keeping it real, right? But at one point, do you cut your cords? At what point do you remove yourself from the tethering of, you know, things that are no longer serving to your best interests?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And his entire life and legacy is tied into his neighborhood. So for me to see and to think that he could remove himself from that situation, that's kind of illogical. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, he was consumed by that same situation. And maybe there's a deep fucking lesson in that. You dig what I'm saying? And I'm willing to look at all of the astrological, cosmological information that I have to extract whatever lesson that I need to extract. You know what I'm saying? But for what I'm seeing and as I'm looking at it, like I said, man, it's just us. Always us, never them. You feel me? And all of these opportunities that the universe is affording us to look into the mirror to deal with us. That shadow self that you're talking about, that's us. That's that subconscious. Somebody pointed out he got shot in the head. That's us.
Mm-hmm. Because I see videos where people are like, yo, that was a military style shooting. And, you know, the way that they shot him, that's what the military does. Well, we got to watch what we say, because we begin to reveal that we don't know what the hell we talking about. You understand? People get shot like that every day. I see some posts where they're like military style shooting, 2 to the upper torso, 1 to the head. Mob style execution, 2 to the back of the head, 1 to the body. I'm like, you niggas watch too much TV, first of all. If you see the video, homie got the drop on him, ran down on him, and start hitting, and then stood over him and hit again. So there's nothing military about that. Military, or what you niggas call the government with your conspiracy theories, they don't carry out broad daylight shootings like that. The government conspiracists, or if the government wants you, they'll pull you over late at night with government issued vehicles, shoot up the car and put a damn gun in there or something. There's other ways that they carry out their wickedry. They're not gonna pull up broad daylight on Crenshaw and Slauson to prove. No, broad daylight shooting a nigga in front of a child is some nigga shit. That's nigga energy, and we've seen it before. How dare you niggas start switching up and start saying, oh, they killed them because he wanted to make a documentary. No, they killed them because of these niggas are fear the energy of the black messiahs. They hate the energy. They are threatened by the energy of messianic ones, the Christ energy, the Christos energy. When those of us turn into butterfly around these motherfucking caterpillars, what did Kendrick call it? I just put a Throwback Thursday of To Pimp a Butterfly because it came out a few days ago, years ago. So To Pimp a Butterfly, when you get your wings, when you begin to evolve past this underworld, when you cut when you cut the teethering of your lower self, of your day ones, of them niggas who ain't about shit, of those dark demons that you niggas call your best friends and your homies and whatnot, not coming to terms that nigga, they was hanging out with you when you was in your teetered state. They was niggas from the tunnel. The tunnel era. You dig what I'm saying? The motherfucker, because when we were in the tunnel in New York City, the nightclub, the tunnel, that's when we were in our most basest, lowest self. That's when niggas was getting cut, robbed, shot outside, stuck up, shot at, security guards, 86ing. Like that was some of the most primal times. And I identify with individuals all around America through the social media or on face card or face to face, just based off of those days in the tunnel, in the underworld, with underworld figures. So we in this culture are going through this path in this culture that is a deaf culture. And we cannot begin to call some other race of people supreme and point fingers and act as if these people say sorry to us, sorry to bother you, cut a check and give niggas some motherfucking jobs, that this curse that niggas have on them supposed to magically go away. The teethering that we have to a destructive part of ourselves that continuously shows that it's self-sabotaging. The shit happened with Nipsey. It's a nigga switch that niggas get activated like Manchurian candidates and will fucking turn into Judas and sabotage the messiahs amongst us. You understand? Like I said, the day before, I was standing out there with the gods and the earth, an organization to survive a whole lot of assassinations of the Nipsey Hussle, the Nipsey Hussle kind, the messianic ones, the God bodies, the true and livings, were killed in different incidences all around the United States of America through the years of the 90s and stuff like that. This has happened to many of our, like Nipsey is a rare breed, but truth be told, he's cut from a cloth that many were cut from. It's just that those messianic ones they've been what? They've been entangled, they've quantum entangled with angels and demons. They've been tethered to their poverty self, their pain body. You understand? And when your pain body takes over, or when those sex demons take over, or when your motherfucking lower self, when your ribs is touching, nigga, and your animal self and your monkey brain takes over, or that rabbit brain takes over, you niggas is minced meat. And it's been proven time after time after time. Remember, everybody who went down in flames in this calendar year 2019 is they persecuting the penis. Bill Cosby went down in flames, right? R. Kelly's going down in flames. Michael Jackson went from an angel, so he completed the process. We talked about this before, that he actually is the archangel. So now he could return because he returned as the archangels with the leaving Netherland and with Mother Oprah, or with Oprah Winfrey doing
Goliath. I remember Aaron Pooh broke that shit down right after we did the Blueprint 322 10 years ago.
Facts.
Where he did the etymology on Oprah and explained she had that Goliath energy.
Facts.
Bruh.
She set that thing in motion.
Blueprint 322.2.
These are all persecuted penises, meaning that they are persecuting the black man, the male principle, from the sexual standpoint, from your red, from the lower chakra, from your tethered self. They're attacking your shadow self. They're persecuting your shadow self. They're persecuting the us aspect of you. They're persecuting your lower self. They know that your lower self can be persecuted because they have conditioned and created and terraformed an environment for your lower self to actually prosper. That's what the small hats, that's what Hollywood, that's what the record industry, that's what Clear Channel, that's what advertisements and marketers, that's what the food and the GMO, that's what all of these things, these suggestions that they send in, even through the ELFs, even through the 3G, even through cartoons by the over and hypersexualizing and the
3G,
sexual
nigga.
confusion.
Who uses 3G? 5G?
I mean, yeah, I'm not because 5G hasn't hit like that yet.
4G, 3G, and 4G. You're right.
3G and 4G.
3.0 websites,
facts. So
social media. Yeah.
This is a stew. This is a stew. This is multiple industries, multiple institutions. This is the proverbial white supremacy, the nine what do they call it with it? Neely Fuller and Dr. Francis.
9 areas of activity.
The 9 areas of activity. And this is a result of what it is that they're doing. When you niggas get taken over by your lower self, you're not yourself anymore. How about it? When your lower self takes over, I don't care. Maybe when you on the alcohol, maybe when you on crack, maybe when you on the opiates, maybe when you on the marijuana, maybe when you on the Florida water, maybe when you on just breathing, maybe whenever. But when your lower self, when your tethered self takes over, right? Like how we saw in that movie when they showed you her doppelganger, but that person can exist in one body.
Facts.
You got Red, and then you have what's her name? What was Lupita's other name?
I don't know. I just remember Red.
Okay. So the reason why I mentioned the pharmacopoeia, I'm not insulting anybody or implying that everybody has to be on some kind of drugs or, pharmacopoeia. I'm saying to those who've tried those, you could really relate to what I'm talking about. So I'm speaking directly to you, so we don't got to play any fucking kiddie games when I talk about when you let the demons take over, because you know what I'm talking about. I have to endure in my everyday travels watching niggas in these streets with their tethered selves in full control of their motherfucking vessel, and they
playing
should be
it out.
Yeah, and some of them are coming from the underground of the train stations.
Some underworld, literally.
Literally. Some of them are coming from the shelters in Ward's Island, which is a whole asylum for people who are mentally crazy, whose tethered selves are driving the motherfucking bus
all day.
Yeah, they got their low. They trick their higher selves. They lock that nigga somewhere in the tunnel underground somewhere, and their tethered self, the fucking Red with the scissors, has taken over, and they asking me for coins and change.
Yeah, facts.
And the culture called hip hop that is now functioning as a deaf culture after niggas said that it is dead, because it is dead. Look at Little Uzi Vert and fucking Trippie Redd, nigga. They will show you this shit is we're in the zombie phase, nigga. ZZ with the fucking look at Kodak, nigga. Yeah. This is Serpent.
The Zeke shit. It's that Zeke shit.
This is that Zeke shit, nigga. We are in the underworld. So if hip hop is dead, then we are Baron Samdi, nigga. We are in the we're in the bizarro world. We are in the upside down world. Make no mistake about it. And there's infinite possibilities of universes and realities to exist, nigga. This is one out of a few billion, but nigga, this is the bizarro world. Okay. And niggas make it even more bizarro with the conspiracy theories. But this is what's not a theory, because I don't want to talk about a theory tonight. I want to talk about a fact. Astaghfirullah, shame on you niggas who talk theories when you were standing around the facts all day. How does that work? I'm on the internet and I'm finding out shit. Niggas is on the ground in certain places and don't know what's going on in the hood. That's dangerous. That's dangerous. That is irresponsible journalism, and to be talking about somebody of such that stature and not putting it into the proper perspective, thus hijacking and trying to change the motherfucking narrative to fit people's victimhood agendas and their conspiracy theories, that's disingenuous. And that's some weird shit right there. So we need to focus on the motherfucking facts. And the facts is that the majority of the people who are dying in these streets, because it's not just Nipsey, this is an everyday occurrence in the motherfucking streets of America, Black America, ADOS America, our people, our messiahs, our future leaders, our foundation are being either enslaved or they are being basically not just killed, they're being traumatized and they're being sucked in to this underworld because of the fact that it's not being disrupted, it's being celebrated. You niggas celebrate gang culture. You've accepted it because of your fear of confronting it and to motherfucking, huh?
On the gang. They was just singing Tatiana. They was just doing
niggas is bust downs.
I
don't hear
on the
certain
gang.
people that I've never heard.
Entertainment, rat packing shorties. That's your entertainment.
In the midst of a race war that been going on before 2012. That been going on before Obama became president for niggas with their theories.
No, I'm just saying, like, even with Tatiana, if you rat packing the shorty into the gang, the gang, right?
On the gang. Mm-hmm.
And she is being rat packed into the gang to do some Cardi shit. But
to
then
do some Cardi shit.
But then they mad at Cardi.
Come on. But they didn't get mad at the culture. You got mad at Cardi,
but
you did not get mad at gang culture. But you did not get mad at that culture.
She got turned out by the culture so much that she named her daughter Culture.
She
personifies the culture. She ain't come from that bloodline. Her mama wasn't about that life. She came a product of her environment and turned her environment into her product.
That's right.
What's wrong with y'all? Do we need to do a fucking town hall around America to reintroduce you niggas to what the game is?
It's called the game for a reason.
On the gang.
On the fucking gang. You know what I'm talking about? On the gang. Bust down. So they got mad at Cardi, but they didn't get mad at prostitution. They didn't get mad at the fact that fuck what Cardi did 8 years ago. What about the nigga who got tied up last night? Are we going to turn it to fucking if we're going to turn it to Pet Detective and McGruff the crime dog and start solving these fucking Instagram murders, nigga, or these Instagram robberies, the finesses? Niggas is getting tied up.
Home screen invasion.
You understand? Are we gonna turn into Pet Detective
crimes?
Because
niggas gotta turn to McGruff.
That shit was a long time ago, but I promise you, people is getting lined up as I speak because the culture is running rampant and nobody is addressing that aspect of it. Nobody is diagnosing the fucking deaf culture that continues. Remember,
this weekend,
there's an aspect of accountability that niggas refuse to take. In 2019, ever since we seen this motherfucking calendar year start, what I've seen from not just the conscious community, I don't know what you niggas call yourself, the woke jokes that are out there, and everybody else in the peanut gallery, none of you niggas have shown. The gangs are not showing it, the streets are not showing it, the hip hop culture is not showing it. There's no accountability.
None.
The R. Kelly shit showed niggas you could take the babies and do them dirty. You could pee on them. You feel me? You could pee on them and then come back later on and try to ridicule niggas that's peeing on them. Like Cameron in the movie peed on the little girl. And then when the R. Kelly shit came out, he was so crazy about R. Kelly. That's the culture that we live in now, where it's cancel culture. Niggas is looking for a pariah, somebody to throw darts at, somebody to publicly hang. We live in a digital lynching era. niggas is like, yo, how could people stand around and watch black people get hung like that and you know, tarred and feathered and shot up and whatnot? The same way you niggas pull up to certain lives to see tea get poured, you see niggas get tar feathered and hot tea poured over them like this is Game of Thrones with the molten. You understand? Niggas line up to watch the tea get spilled and all kind of crucifixions of their favorite celebrities who they want to cancel. So it's the same kind of inquisition. It's the same kind of aspect of people wanting to see blood. They always want a Messiah to crucify.
Facts.
So the fact that there's no accountability to anybody that's looking at the race, the fact that niggas are not using any of their power or influence to make anybody be held accountable for any of the fuckery that they're doing within the culture, the race, the nation, whatever niggas, the community, the network, whatever they want to, the family, whatever they want to call it, there's no accountability. What does no accountability begin to do? Your credit is now going to be fucked up with other people around the world who base their basic credit, they base the fact of how they deal with you.
Right?
They base their social credit and they base their interactions with you and your nation based off of the fact if you hold your own people accountable, meaning that you don't have any systems in place as a country, as a nation, as whatever the fuck, as a movement, anything that y'all say, there's no reward system, there's no penalty system, and there's no value system. We lost our value. Niggas don't value themselves. They don't value anything around them. They don't value their neighborhood. Somebody said some shit about Nipsey, buy back the block. I said, buy back what, nigga? You buy back the block with the cancer on it? How the fuck you gonna buy back a block and not remove the cancer? Would you buy a fucking, you know, buy what? The cancer is killing the block. It's the cancer, not the block. So niggas is not talking about removing the cancer. If the body has cancerous parts, you cut it off. Our neighborhoods have been depreciated and dilapidated and devalued, and they're turning into what the fuck they're turning into. And they did the big old gentrified switcheroo on us because there's a cancer on the fucking block and there's a cancer in your hood and it's destroying your hood. And you niggas are too scared to get rid of the motherfucking cancer because the cancer gotta go. Then you could buy the block back. You buy the block, and them niggas is gonna keep devaluing your block by pushing poison, selling dope, horse, boy, girl, whatever the fuck you wanna call it, shootouts, gang culture, meetups, beating people up, robbing people, burglarizing, carjacking, all of the nigga shit. So, no, you gotta remove the cancer. And one of the reasons why the brother was instrumental and he was so important is because he understood that that's what he understood what needed to be done. The way that he separated the cancer was about by bringing values back. Once you implement value and once you implement code, and I'm not talking about that follow the code or the code, I'm talking about a real code, a street code, some shit that we could all recite in our motherfucking sleep and read it backwards. Not conspiracy, not speculation, real shit.
Right.
So when you restore the code, one of the things about the street organizations is the fact that they have a code and that code is understood and that code is followed and there's an inner understanding of that code. And then when you get even further and then when you get even more organized, you have organized crime, underworld crime, unorganized, and there's a code that they also follow, that if that code is not followed, then they will separate the weak from the strong. They will cut the weak. They will get the weak or what they perceive to be the weak or those who don't follow rules, those who don't follow order, those who don't allow themselves to be governed. They remove them. So then other nations see how these nations move, and then those nations are be willing to become either allies or to do business with them or to take them seriously because they see to do what? You niggas take care of your trash inside the house. You niggas clean up your house before you come out the house telling anybody how to fucking clean up their yard. Because when you don't clean up the house and you open up the door, it's you coming out the house, but them dusty, rusty niggas is tethered to you. They come running out the house too. And sooner or later, nobody knows who's who.
Fact.
You got to clean the house. You got to clean the house, and we on the internet, so I don't give out cleaning instructions on the internet. I'm Mr. Clean. But we could talk about
rare,
this.
Nigga. Wait, you said you rare like Mr. Clean with hair? I'm rare. Look.
But law, I'm talking about code, right? Mm-hmm. I'm talking about a real code. I'm talking about a universal code. When our brothers tend to get to that point where they're ready to change up this matrix and implement things like that, Larry Hoover, Fred Hampton. I'm talking about those who are ready to bring the code. Jeff Ford, Chief Malik. Mm-hmm. My good brother, El Malik Shabazz. Okay? These brothers were coming to bring a code. Malcolm X's grandson.
Yes.
These people were ready to come and restore order. These people were ready to build bridges. Tupac Shakur with the One Nation movement. You dig what I'm saying? By bringing the two, the red and the blue together in Compton or in Los Angeles during the time of his his tenure, right? That messianic force, that street knowledge source, that fact that you're bridging the gap between consciousness and the streets. You're bridging the gap between the learned and the unlearned. You're bridging the gap between the savages and the sophisticated ones, creating the society of sophisticated savages. That's the bridge that Tupac represents. That's the bridge that Kendrick represents. That's the bridge that Nipsey represents. That's the bridge that many of the quote unquote some of the most important and some of the most messianic ones amongst us are those who walk in both worlds, because you need both kingdoms intact in order to march out and make anything, you know, and make any. You have to have hip and you have to have hop. So the hip is the action. The hip is the fact that niggas will pop off from the hip. Niggas will pop, you know what I mean? That my hip got some shit on it that, you know what I mean? Will get it popping. It's the active principle. And the hop. No, the hip is the knowing. It's the Gnostic. It's the knowing. It's to be hip. It's to know. And the hop is the fact that will pop out. The fact is where the active principle, you need fire to get any fucking thing started. You know what I mean? You need movement. You need kinetic energy in order for anything to manifest. So you have to be hip and then you hop. So you have the streets who are the hop. They the ones that take care of shit. Yo, we need shit taken care of. We're organized. We're on code. We don't talk on the internet. We don't have to say anything, nigga. Mob ties. Talk black to me. You know what I'm talking about?
Facts.
You know, being able to make things work, being able to tap into the real ancestors, because the real ancestors were very powerful in their organization. And the real ancestors had a reward system, a penalty system, and a value system. And the real ancestors that you niggas want to hold up and revere and invoke their names, like a Bumpy Johnson, you know what I mean? If you want to talk like a Father Allah, like a Clarence X, like a Elijah Muhammad, like a Noble Drew Ali, like a Marcus Mosiah Garvey. These people had organization. These people were bringing back a value system. They were teaching the black man, woman, and child about valuing themselves, seeing themselves in a more important place, and to look at others who are not deserving or who are not qualified to be looked at a certain place or to be valued and held at a certain. He was collapsing their stocks. He was giving niggas reason to tank those stocks, because you niggas you're holding their stocks too high. Every time you say white supremacy, their stocks rise in power. Their stocks go high. That's why the stock market is booming, because everybody is running around giving them the supreme power. You're invoking their supremacy. You're invoking their rise. You're invoking their quote unquote, You know what I mean? Nigga, that's homoerotic. How about that? How about if I ever hear niggas call another race of people supreme or supremacy, that's the highway to homoeroticism. Because if you see somebody supreme over you, you are in a position to allow that person to dominate you. That's a fact. I'm not making this up. This is not conspiracy. Talk black to me. You have to identify it for what it is. White inferiority complex, white fragility, lampooning as white supremacy. They need you to accept the supremacy aspect in order for it to work. We are to ignore them. You got a house to clean, as we can see right now. Oh, it's a military style hit. These niggas got military weapons in the hood. So you mean to tell me when these niggas get hit with the Fortnite guns and the Call of Duty hammers all in the hood, that it's the military, or it's niggas with military weaponry? Up and down I-95, all in throughout the South, all up and down the Midwest, all on the West Coast, especially places that are gang related, all up in Chirac, my niggas, all up in Cleveland, Ohio, and other places. Niggas are dying wholesale. Why is nobody talking about that? Why does nobody want to confront that aspect of the tangle? Us. What is that? The path to us. Why nobody want to deal with us?
Us. Always us, never them. When we gonna get that through our mind and deal with this shit?
We got a barricade.
That's the only way that you can earn the motherfucking keys to the kingdom. They said this shit is gonna be hard to get to, like a pin through a needle through a pinhead.
Facts.
Right? Mad people gonna lose their lives this year. Hate to break it to you. The amount of people that's gonna get through is like needle to a pinhead, my nigga. You gotta get on your fucking A game. More so now than forever. If grace and favor has, for whatever reason, you know, missed our brother Nipsey, right? Skipped over or whatever, or left him. You know, what is everybody else's chances? Who might be thinking about doing something? Who might be doing just one thing? You know, when a person is doing 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 things with plans way into the future, GQ covers and everything, treating his lady like he's supposed to, treating his homies like he's supposed to, right? Honoring Granny. He had Granny on the G5.
He had Granny on the G5, y'all.
And he said, let's make that the standard. I was in LA 2 weeks ago when he was making his radio rounds. So I listened to most of his interviews. He got on LA radio and was telling them people, we need to make it the standard. If we want to edify anybody, we got to edify Granny. We got to make this shit ancestral. We got to make sure that our bloodline is involved with our celebratory practices, not just the homies. Put your Granny on the G5. Take her to the outings. You know what I mean? Bring her around the world with you. Let her see. Let her feet touch these tarmacs. Let her see her baby turn up. I ain't seen that in a long time. I ain't seen a man in hip hop in a long time, uncompromising. I ain't seen a man who he lost his whiz right before he got signed up with Atlantic and got cemented to make his run. He got online and he got on his offset. You know,
his
he showed a
444.
level of vulnerability. He got on his grown man on his 444.
That's right. I remember that.
And pleaded for that woman to come back, and he had to fight trolls and all of that. They was coming for him. He said, I'm willing to fight for mine. When he seen the lack of he spoke on the abundance of masculinity in that picture the Big U put up with the young boys that was graduating from the Pee Wee football shit. Said they wasn't lit. These are susceptible leaders in the community, warriors. LBGT try to come for his head. When his album was coming out, 216, the same day Black Panther came out. Africans stuck to his guns, victory lap, right? During All-Star Weekend, LA showed out, showed the fuck up, put out a classic album, first one after 10 years, right? Of putting all motherfucking 10 toes down, getting nitty gritty and cut, making sure he grinded. on the base level, introduced independent ways to market your project, solo album, a CD, a mixtape for $100 and whole bought 10. 100.
Oh.
Proud to pay. Marathon. He knew about the numeric game. You just gotta have 100 loyal fans. Proud to pay.
It's called a long tail theory by Chris Anderson. The 1,000 true fan theory.
100. He said we not in this for short term. We in it for the long term. Go watch the interviews, family. There's not one interview that you can't walk away from with some gemstones to better your life, to show the youngins, show them the real fucking deal. You know what I'm saying? Homie was a real one. One of the last Mohicans for real. In a fucking age of the Tekashi 6ix9ines. This was not that. This was the antithesis to that in every sense of the word. But he still got consumed by his fucking hood at the end of the day. Right? The tethered one still came from underneath the fucking ground and came up and cut his cord.
That's right.
Right? So we got to do better.
Now,
you know what I'm saying?
His upcoming work will be a bona fide certified classic. I'm saying it ahead of time that will be the album of the year. It's rumored that he was working on an album with Meek Mill. Okay.
Yeah, I heard.
We have to talk about the Meek Mill energy. And, you know, there's a lot of people that come up. Meek Mill has a lot of death following him. Snoop died. Dex Osama died. A few other people died. You know what I mean? You know, there's a lot of that energy, you know, that Philly energy, man. It's that street shit, you know. These angels of death that be following people, huh?
Rest in peace to Tech 9.
Tech 9 out of Philly, you know what I mean? You know, I talked about it last week about how the gates were definitely open in March. There was a lot of death, you know what I mean? There was a lot of street dudes was making transition as well. So, you know, before we go further, I don't think we clarified to the family about the quote unquote killer or the official story that we're hearing. And, you know, the fact that it's been said that it was an altercation between a member of his set who they identified as a rat. So speaking of the fact that he's the antithesis to a Tekashi 6ix9ine, he was very vocal about his disdain for Tekashi 6ix9ine after 6ix9ine became a rat or identified as a rat. And, you know, Nipsey was basically, he wasn't online going crazy the same way that 21 Savage, you know, said, you know, spoke of his disdain for rats and things of that nature. But he was the antithesis to that. He stood for something. He had a code that he was standing on, and he was considered to be the big homie of his set, the face of his set. You know, he was very high ranking. And the dude was trying to shop with him at his store. The shooter, it was said that the shooter was trying to come and shop. He basically told the shooter that his money wasn't good over there and for nobody to sell anything to the homie, because when you're identified as a rat and you got paperwork on your name, you're basically excommunicated. You're outcasted in your community. Good. Huh?
That's the worst thing you could do. You could be in that setting.
Facts. So here it is, you have a man walking around who is wearing something because of the actions that he chose to do to become identified as a rat. So he's already in his, you know, his ego is already in control, and he's already in a place where, you know, what'd you say? I can't hear you.
I didn't say anything.
Oh. Dude is in a place where he can easily be put in his feelings. So when Nipsey rejected him and didn't, you know, and basically told dude to be on his way, rumor has it, allegedly, because I have to be careful, you know, allegedly, dude basically, as you can see in the footage that they released, he basically crept on them and he had to drop. He crept around from the side of the building, and he basically ran down on the brother. And when somebody gets a drop on you, you know, it could be fatal. It could be deadly. So there's a picture going around. I saw the picture of the individual. You know, the sets have actually put out the picture and said in the description that, you know, they're looking, huh?
Street justice.
Street justice.
You know, and one thing that we can say is that God is synonymous with the streets, right? The streets take no losses. The streets have no fucking heart. Streets have no consideration, right? Streets take no sides. Okay? And the streets are undefeated. That's God. That's God. You can't differentiate. When they fight in Assyria, how does God differentiate between what Muslim gets killed and fucking eviscerated and evaporated with rockets? Right? God don't take sides. Right? Every fucking body's getting washed out here to a degree. I mean, but the niggas that's not lifting the finger and taking no risks to wash up their adversaries, they don't have no points on the board, so they can't talk. Sit down, nigga. Right? We know what you good for. You good for the shit that we here talking about tonight, washing your own up. You ain't get past your fucking lower root chakra to get into your heart chakra to deal with some shit that's above your heart that you need to deal with, because that's where the principalities exist. That's where your enemies that you need to be focusing on. You got to get to them through there. You have to open your heart chakra first in order to deal with this adversary. You ain't make it past your fucking root. You're still dealing with this nigga shit. You have no points on the board. None. You can't name to me one motherfucking person that you done washed up that was considered your adversary from the other side, right? We ain't talking banging red and blue and that other side. We talking that other side. You know what I'm talking about, nigga. So if you can't show me no points on the board, then you need to sit down. And we know what you niggas is good for. And you good for the very thing that we talking about tonight. The fact that they saying the niggas is rioting at the vigil. Shit like that.
And somebody's in critical condition at the vigil at his store right now.
Yeah. That energy, that's not heart chakra energy. That's not honoring that man's legacy. You know what I'm saying? That's not elevating what he stood for. That's not continuing his mission and his purpose. That's niggers taking over and doing it, right, the way the niggas deem to do it. And unfortunately, like I said, yes, street justice will motherfucking reign in a situation such as this. And that shit is chaos. But the streets is undefeated.
It is, you know, the works that he has completed, the lessons and the steps and the instructions, because he was very descriptive in his motivational music, especially the motivational music that he was making. He was very descriptive in his, you know, in his hooks. You know, if anybody knows about mantra music, if anybody knows about, you know, chants and whatnot, saying mantras that basically give you that hood thug motivation. Remember Thug Motivation 101?
Mm-hmm.
You know, they give us that you know, that sauce, that energy. He was one who was putting that out. Okay. But he exceeded just being somebody who was a motivational rapper. He actually was embracing what we embrace in our program on our platform with technology.
And you know, the sacrifice is this, family. The sacrifice is for our children don't have to go through the trials and tribulations to get the stripes You know what I mean? That they could tap right into their genius because this brother had genius. But he also, like I said, was a product of his environment that turned his environment into his product ultimately, but got consumed by playing with fire as a Leo. We want to cultivate those amongst us that have the genius without the unnecessary tethering attached to the other shit. You know what I mean? And that's what we have to be willing to fight for. That's what we have to be willing to lay it on the line for. So my nephew and my nieces and your children don't have to go through this. So we don't have to sit back and see niggas rioting at vigils because there will be no vigils. We have to bring it into this. And the only way that we're gonna bring it into is by declaring that we've had enough. You know what I'm saying? And changing our circumstance and our environment. Same thing that we was talking about last week in terms of the biology of belief. The fact that your environment is the thing responsible for changing your DNA, right? You're not genetically disposed to be one thing or the other environmentally because you have skin receptors that adapt and change to environment. You are being terraformed by your environment, you know? Yes, my favorite song of all times is No Days Off.
Somebody said YG shot. Don't say that.
Yeah, I seen something like that. I just seen something posted. But yeah, we're not gonna do this, all night either. Obviously there's a lot going on. Um, you know, my message, I got attacked on Instagram earlier because I told people that the focus should not be on conspiracy theories because, in traditional times, what I'm saying, since we want to talk about our tethering to our ancestry and African cosmology and spirituality, in particular, in the Kemetic philosophy, you were to give the body or the ka the ba 72 hours after, death, 72 hours of peace, so that spirit can reconcile itself to make its travels. So technically, you weren't supposed to touch the body. You were supposed to have somewhere for it to be untouched, untampered with, right? This is the whole claim of resting in peace. So that soul can make its ascension. We're not getting that anymore. The conspiracy theories and all of these things, and people's failure to really deal with the issue at hand, the mental illness and the psychosis that exists in our communities amongst one another, the lifestyle, the culture, all of these things, but making the focus on the white man once again, on them and not us. We missed a grand opportunity to corral some things and put some shit in control. So while these niggas was chasing conspiracy theories, they said that they was out here killing that man's family, the suspect, right? And niggas was getting shot left and right. And it's only gonna turn up. Same way that when Baby Lane killed Tupac, how they motherfucking started tacking up the body count in Compton and through the rest of the area. While the police still ran around with the narrative about we don't know who killed Pac, we don't know what's going on, and niggas ran around with the conspiracy theories about he was
and that
about to
and
do this
and
and he was about to do that.
and that truth
Oh,
just recently came out. Like
yeah.
niggas was holding on to that truth for a long time that
Because they
Pac
said
got
they
killed
said
by
they
a
had
gang
they,
member.
they said they had to wait till his family made transition or got out of the way till they could speak on it. That's how much respect they held. So niggas held it to the breast, but people who needed to know, I was behind the wall and I knew. I was in Virginia and my bunkie was from Chi-Town and his family was Larry Hoover and he knew because they got the call. So how the fuck? It's the same way with niggas that showing them live streams at the murder scene, talking about government conspiracies when everybody in that hood knew what happened. Cause I knew what happened and I was on the internet. So how you ain't know? But you want to take the information to your platform and talk about a conspiracy and start motherfucking feeding fuel to the fire because it fits into your narrative of feeding these niggas trauma and drama every chance you get. Same way we've been talking about for the last few episodes on Tough Talk Tuesdays, right? Mm?
Facts.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna waste all fucking night with this narrative. You know what I'm saying? I think that we got our point firmly established. Don't fall. into the traps of dealing with the conspiracy, because that shit affords you nothing, and it's really low key fear based, right? It's niggas. The conspiracy is niggas conspiring not to do anything, because if they pass
That's
the
right.
buck to the white man, they don't have to do anything but do 100 motherfucking million YouTubes about speculating, when we could close the door and deal with this shit directly. It's the mental illness and the psychosis of the fucking culture and the lifestyle that we perpetuate every single day. It's the fact that we are tethered to our lower aspects of ourselves, the nigga that's within all of us, that you have to motherfucking make a firm decision if you want to walk as a negus on this fucking planet. You know, can you motherfucking carry an 800-pound gorilla on your back? Or you want to take that fucking knapsack off? Huh? You make the decision. I'm good. Peace.
Hold on, because I'm not ready to sign off this very moment. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. There's some things that we got to clear up, because the Sabi thing is out. A lot of people are talking about the Sabi, and I just wanted to briefly just touch on that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I still also want to tap into a few things, because I didn't finish making my point
Make your point.
about what Nipsey represented with the technology, right? With the work, with the fact that he was investing into STEM, and the fact that he had a smart store, and the fact that his name is synonymous with blockchain. Okay. And he was actually, so I'm looking into that aspect, the fact that he linked up with the Idris brother, who's big in VR world, virtual reality, augmented reality.
I met him last time I was there.
Yeah, you met him last time you was in LA, and he did coding for Google, and I believe Twitter and Instagram.
He created the Explorer page for Instagram. Let's talk about it.
He created the Explorer page for Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to focus on that aspect of the genius, because that could be drastically lost, while people will focus on other aspects of his life, and and embellishing the whole Crip aspect, and embellishing the gangster aspect. They want to be respected and revered like him. So they'll what I mean? They'll walk that line that he walked in that world, not realizing or not being drawn to walking the line that he was walking in the technology world, in the entrepreneur world, in the startup world, in the blockchain world. So that's what Facts 2020 is representing. That's what the solution based initiative that we're pushing forward. That's in alignment. That's in alignment with what he's out here doing. Then he understood the power of being able to tell the stories of the great ones amongst us, and utilizing his name, utilizing his face card, utilizing his celebrity, utilizing his connections and his brand awareness. And he said that he was going to immortalize and lionize Dr. Sebi. By doing that, he becomes tied into Sebi's legacy forever. By doing that, he's tethered to Sebi's legacy. He has a bond. There's a spiritual bond. It's even more spiritual now. So when you invoke Sebi, you invoke Nipsey, you invoke Left Eye, you invoke MJ. There's an army in the spiritual realm attached and tethered to this great warrior, this great man, this healing energy, this revolutionary, evolutionary, African American, or American American by way of Honduras, right? But an African by way of Africa, because he identified that he was from the continent and didn't have any hiccups about that. So that has that has a lot of significance. Blue Pill, has a lot of significance, especially when it comes to the degrees of separation. The fact that you were there in the beginning, you know, of the career. And here we are at the book end of that victory lap, right? Where the marathon has been said to niggas have committed to continue the marathon. So all of his works that he's been working on, I promise you, there's some gifts that are gonna rain and come down in the form of his intellectual property. I'm sure he had a lot of product. He will, like I said, the Tupac comparisons will be made once his album is released. The rumbling will begin, but when his body of work is released, that's when the narrative and that's when the comparisons will begin to take effect. And it's not here. This is not Mandingo wrestling. This is not UFC. We not weighing niggas and tailor the tape. No, Pac had his reign and did his magic. Let the magicians, let the magi's, let the gods carve their own mythos. Everybody don't gotta be a clone of the next man. But he said it. I'm the Tupac of this generation. Dedication. When he said, I'm fucking blue pill in the Matrix.
Facts.
So he's tethered and tied into the legacy of Sabi. He does not have time. He does not, you know, he makes his untimely demise, but he puts out into the universe. He affirms that the Dr. Sabi story will be told. The legendary, greatest story never told will be told. A few people heard about that and was like, right on. They watched Breakfast Club. I looked at the video. It was well into the millions. But now, after his untimely demise and the fact that a conspiracy theory is tethered into this story, because a lot of people die every day, B, and they're attached to other people. They're attached to projects that they said that they're going to do. Yo, I got a joint album with Ghostface, or I'm going to do this. I'm going to make a movie about this. Like if Will Smith made Transition, I'm not just throwing it out there like that, but nobody would be like, oh, what about the Taharka movie? So the fact that that's tied in and millions upon millions upon, I'm getting phone calls. Yo, this Dr. Sabi that I'm hearing about, oh my goodness, I was watching videos about it. I had no idea. So Sabi has this American God type shit. This is American God type shit. This is what I'm talking about. The new gods replacing the old gods. This is American God shit. Talk black to me. I want to hear some coins drop. No, that my shit is not set up. But I see coins dropping. I'm going to give y'all a shout out. I'm saying that the way that Sabi is interjecting into his spirit, his message, his presence in the minds of millions of people, and he had nothing to do with it. You understand? It's the power of his spirit. It's the power of his legacy. It's the power of not just what he represents, but all those who are tethered and connected to him, what they represent. There's birth and death. It's a cycle of this planet that we're on. You niggas need to go and read you need to read your flight manuals or something. You know what I'm talking about? You need to read your airline ticket before you got here. It explains everything. That's what this is life and death. Is a Scorpio planet. So wait till you see what he was cooking. Energy never dies. Like I said, he's immortalized. He's in the high rankings. He died young like James Dean. That's still a ritual. It's a gift and a curse. If you're not scared of death and you don't fear death, and death is not something that you are, it doesn't have you in the motherfucker. It don't have you tethered to this physical plane, to the Malkuth, right? To the fucking tunnel. If you're like, you know what? I'm a fucking legend. I'm Nipsey the Great, right? The same way like Alexander the Great, and I don't want to compare the two, but I'm saying he died at a young age and he did legendary shit. So the legendary shit that has already been done. Remember, urban legend turned it into a immortalized hip hop legend, turned into an immortalized black legend, an African American legend. Remember, Eritrea and America, American gods. You niggas get out your feelings because, you know, I'm saying gods, and you have been conditioned to see only one god, and you think that nigga has silky Hawaiian blonde, platinum blonde, you know what I mean? Bundles and shit. With fucking, you know what I mean? With Tiffany blue eyes. You know what I'm saying? Kick rocks. You know, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to you niggas that got stars on your cable and you know about American gods. You know that the gods are pantheon, and the new gods on this physical plane are the hip hop motherfucking artists. There's nobody fucking with them. Niggas is catching balls and whatnot and dunking balls, Zion and all of them. That shit is cool, but they're not on the level of the American gods. Ghost, who was out here tongue kissing Beyonce, the Power and all them niggas, the actors, the movie stars, they're not even on the level of the rappers. They bow down to Jay-Z.
Mm-hmm.
Them niggas turn Kaepernick around Jay. He's the that's, you know what I'm talking about? Like, that's the big homie for real. And in LA, amongst a group of powerful people, Son was the big homie. And it translated into millions of fans. He was the big homie with millions of people, not because of his gang affiliation. He wasn't on no bully shit, because of his intellect, because of his consciousness, because of his knowledge that he had of the blockchain, of smart stores, of apps, of basically owning your masses and ownership and things of that nature. So that was the same shit that Sabi was about. For him to be like, yo, I never met Sabi like that, but his spirit is something that is tied to me. I'm you know what I mean? Like, I'm inspired. That man was a god. So he wasn't just studying Sabi, he was actually living it out. The same way that his Wiz said in the GQ, go and watch the thing on GQ where they asked him 30 questions. That's beautiful because that was Black love. He has Lauren London as a Wiz and the mother of his child, right? Now, you know, the rule in the hood is, you know what I'm saying? You know that you cool when niggas want to be like you and they want to be with your wife. And that's a lot of Naga's crush right there. That's Nunu, my nigga. That was his wife.
Mm-hmm.
So he was cool and he was conscious. That's a deadly combination. So he's not here to complete what he set out to complete. But being that he put it out there and it's Nipsey Hussle, last name Hussle, the marathon continues. Nick Cannon comes along and picks up the Sabi documentary. How's that for the spirits working? Now, just watch what comes out of that. I want to just leave it at that right there and just say that this is, we need to put Dr. Sabi on the altar. We need to put our brother Nipsey Hussle on the altar. Look, I got the altar. I got them stones set up, baby. You know what I'm talking about? My altar gonna be lit. Holla at Blue Pill if you want to get some sacred stones on your altar. We're not playing with pebbles no more.
Facts.
We're not playing with pebbles no more. Them people went up in them caves and they pulling out life-size precious stones and all of that. We're not playing with pebbles anymore. Astaghfirullah, shame on us for having pebbles on our altar. We need stones. This is stone love. We need, you know what I'm talking about? Like, we need big pieces. Wait, hello? Wait, hold on. Hello? What'd you say? You said these niggas playing games? The ancestors are calling collect? Hold on, yeah? Yeah, I already know. I'm trying to explain to them. Yeah, the ancestors said stop playing.
Stop playing.
Yeah, you niggas stop playing with your pebbles. They said put the pebbles down. They said put the pebbles down if you can't talk on the phone. You niggas got the if you put your stones to your ear, look like the iPhone AirPod. You need big stones. Okay. Big stones. How we gonna sit back on our thrones? How we gonna carve out motherfucking
stones is 44G? Yeah.
How we gonna carve out statues to Dr. Francis Cress Wilson, Dr. Sabi, Nipsey Hussle? I don't want to carve it out of bronze. I want to carve it out of this precious stone. Nigga, we drippy. When the sun hit it, the shit light up. Like, how we gonna carve out all of these stones if niggas is not playing the game like Nipsey told you how to play it? Now let's get in that bag. Let's wrap this shit up, giving niggas some of that Nipsey cloth. Because the Nipsey cloth will take you niggas out of your curse. The Nipsey cloth will break you niggas out of that 400-year spell the motherfuckers is under, where you niggas is tethered to a Chicken George version of yourself, to a fucking fiddler on a roof version of yourself, to a vagabonded motherfucking knuckle dragon splinter version of yourself. That's not you. You niggas have accepted the motherfucking the lower version, doppelganger, Baphometized version of yourself.
Where's this nigga at? When is
he gonna show up?
You niggas is bipolar. When do you switch it to this nigga? When does he pop up? Where's the Tuttian aspect of you niggas? When does this shit mysteriously kick in, huh? You feed the nigga CMOS after midnight?
Can you do this, Blue? Is this possible that you could read the definition of the pathology before we check out? Because this is a conversation that we're going to have to pick up back on. This is just the beginning of this motherfucking pot that we're going to cook. This is the narrative. The narrative needs to be controlled. The narrative needs to be specified. So we're on code. The narrative is about getting back to a value system, getting back to a penalty system. If a nigga get out of line, if somebody steps and puts and harms one of your leaders, the future, the front line, the you know what I mean? Like, because everybody is talking that talk. Oh, people need protection and people need. I haven't got one phone call from you niggas protection agency yet.
Facts.
Yo, I hope Nipsey Hussle finished the documentary. Oh man, we need to know about Sabi. Nigga, Sabi been around since the 80s. My question is, where were you? What are you talking about? Y'all act like he just came out of nowhere, fam. He been here. Y'all act like a documentary is gonna
change everything.
It's gonna change your state of fucking mind. It's gonna make you drop the meat and the GMO and the goddamn ham hocks. Like, you're waiting for that on your fucking tippy toes. Oh, I can't wait for him to tell the story. Nigga, we supposed to have told that story a long time ago when he was alive.
Facts.
What was the cameras in LA then? When he was fucking running around. You know what I mean? Diddy
like I said, hold on. I left Sony Epic, came back to Harlem and started No Less Radio in 2010. So we could tell the second fucking guest was Sabi. No disrespect to Nip. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You've been telling that story on No Less Radio in Sabi's own motherfucking voice for 9 years, 10 years. And then niggas come along mad fucking late and want to tell a story, and then the people are not, like, you're not primed enough to even catch on it. I'm gonna stay with the bullshit until the documentary drop, because you want to be overly convinced that this shit is what you think or what you heard it is. But the people don't have enough faith in their own selves or willingness to do the research, to step out on faith, to say, you know what, I need to make a personal change because I'm doing the research and melanated people are, the leaders in every motherfucking health pathology known to man at this particular time in this country. So just for your own continuity as a race, you would think motherfuckers want to do something different. Or after 100 years, they make the connection to food and the deterioration of the black body. Yeah, melanin might be popping outside, nigga. Black might not crack on the outside, but that shit is cracked the fuck up on the inside.
Crack.
Are you
Crack
fucking serious?
music. Crack music. Somebody said Dr. Sebi was on a Zoe Williams show. Bro, Dr. Sebi was on ABC. Dr. Sebi was on Rock Newman. Dr. Sebi was on Hot 97. Dr. Sebi was with Miss Jones, multiple shows with Miss Jones. And DJ Envy was there. Dr. Sebi was all over.
All over. Long time.
Where
Dr.
were
Sebi
you?
was fucking Michael Jackson's doctor when he was on trial. Did you niggas know about that? Like, where the fuck was y'all at? You only know about the doctor that killed him, but you don't know about when he was going to trial. And the doctor that they called the mysterious man that was with, but they couldn't even say his name on TV.
They wouldn't say it on TV.
They couldn't say it on TV. Right?
They wasn't saying on TV. Yeah. So
again,
Sebi
like
been
I
here.
said, the detriment of people inciting that fear tactic is if yo, you shouldn't go nowhere near that Sabi shit because you could get clipped. That's what you quietly saying to people.
Yeah, that's what they saying.
That's the dog whistles underneath that fear-based shit that you talking about when you say your Nipsey got picked off and then you start bringing up Left Eye.
Yo, if anybody think about touching Dr. Sebi, you gonna get clipped. That is the only thing underneath all of that fuck shit that conspiracy shit is saying to real motherfuckers in these streets. If you touch that Sebi shit, that some mysterious nigga gonna come out of the sky with the Fortnite parachute.
Yeah, that's a no-go.
And the drones are gonna chase you down Linden Boulevard trying to shoot you on your way to your fucking vegan cooking class. And I'm saying cut it out and stop with the bullshit and stop with the conspiracy theories and deal with this shit the way it is. What if we told you that the government did not kill Dr. Sebi?
Facts.
What if we said that it was not the government? He was killed, but it was not the government that killed him to settle you niggas and your conspiracy theories. Because then when you find out who did it, you have to be willing to do something about it.
And you're not ready for that.
The reason why niggas scream this white man conspiracy shit all of the time, because that's a soft target. They know that nobody's gonna do anything. Niggas throw angry bombs over the fucking wall and nothing. You niggas are lobbing Snapple bottles at Israel. Shit like that. And they just throwing drones at your ass. Like, nobody's gonna do anything. So they come up with this phantom, this supremacy target. You know what I mean? All of these fucking distractions. When if a nigga gave you an address and a name, are you going to avenge that man? There's nothing else to talk about. Don't talk about the Illuminati and you niggas don't have their Google locate, they motherfucking location.
You can't drop their pen. Cut it out.
You don't have their IP. You don't even have their IPN numbers. You don't have no kind of logistics. You niggas don't even have a name for us. Shut the fuck up with the bullshit. We gotta the majority of this shit is in-house. It's the niggas that are closest to you. Okay? It's the motherfuckers that are closest to you that be sniffing around all around you and shit that are uncomfortable because your motherfucking light is shining. It's those crabs in the barrels. It's those jealous motherfuckers. It's the people who worship money over goddamn principles and morals who will kill you for $1. And it could be your family members or your loved ones or niggas who say that they the homies than them. That is a fact. It's fucking us. So if you niggas are not willing to deal with us, keep it moving because you niggas have no accountability. You're not built like that. You niggas are you're not about this life. This shit is real life. And you niggas are not accountable. I haven't seen you vet out any kind of punishment. I haven't seen you niggas bring no smoke to a non-smoking section in a long time.
Huh.
Hold these niggas accountable.
Hold on, let him talk. Huh? Oh, never personal, never day. The ways. Huh?
Look,
That you know that you think
we
about.
have to focus on dealing with the issues that we have as a people and how to empower each other and how to weed out those amongst us that are not going to be beneficial or instrumental in our upliftment and our motherfucking movement. And at the same time, get people out of our business and keep them on the motherfucking outside and deal with this shit the way that it needs to be dealt with. And that's by implementing some kind of value into what is being done in these streets, some kind of value. Don't talk to me about you niggas are hyped to go and see the documentary about what Sabi did in the Supreme Court in 1986, when the same people on Dr. Sabi's motherfucking co-defendant list and his jacket are still alive, and nobody cares about them. Nobody's reaching out to them and to support them and to hold them up and to put them on a coin or something. There's still people alive, but they're deifying somebody who is not here, who they necessarily was not deifying when he was here.
How about it?
They wasn't necessarily deifying. They wasn't making sure that Sabi was good like that all the way around.
Right. So nobody take it personal when you see me spitting in the face of these niggas with the fake nigga outrage about master teachers and healers and icons and legends and all of that shit. All right. These niggas don't have no appreciation or value system to add value to anything. The only motherfucking thing they want to do is get next to something so they can figure out how they could profit from it. The same way that these niggas put pictures of Sabi up to next to their projects on IG and be selling you herpes solutions and shit like that. They don't even show you their face, and they up there selling you products. And niggas is getting banked out of shape. But the very people who you know is proven healers in the community don't get your business. You know what I'm saying? You be running to these youngins that's on motherfucking Instagram. Like I said, they got nothing but meme pages. You never seen them, but they'll put a picture of Sabi next to their product and you go and get that shit. Fuck y'all niggas. You know what I'm saying? Eat a dick and die slow. Like this shit is it's us versus them at the end of the day. And them niggas is the them. They the theta ones. They the ones that don't have no motherfucking concept of sacrifice and legacy. And this shit is entertainment to you. Fuck you niggas. You feel me? Fuck you conspiracy theorists at the end of the day.
Cause you know it's a conspiracy.
You're not
Why
standing on
motherfucker?
nothing. You're
Hmm?
not willing to do nothing. The conspiracy is you're conspiring not to do anything and pass the buck once again to make this shit open season on the next motherfucking leader who you want to start digging for. The only reason that you looking for niggas is to motherfucking point the targets out. That's all. You ain't trying to help nobody or nothing. Fuck out of here. And we talking
Mm-hmm.
about a culture of people at this point. Not just a few of you niggas. You want to do the fucking work for Rome. You want to be the niggas that's standing next to Hoover. You want to get your purple heart that way.
That's right. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody said Nipsey got caught lacking by FBI Crip informant Savage. Yeah, if somebody turns into a foreman, they work for the federal government forever. If somebody is identified as a rat, yeah, I would say that they are an employee. You know, that they're an asset. They're
Right?
an asset. So to see him as the quote unquote shooter, to basically cast away the hand of somebody who could manipulate him, I wouldn't necessarily rule it out.
Yeah,
But what?
you don't rule that out.
Yeah, you don't rule that
That's
out.
plausible. That's a scenario. But at the end of the
That's
day,
definitely.
even if that is what it is, how you gonna get redress from that situation? Because you just gonna focus on eating his food. You don't know who his handlers are, right? And you not built like that where you hitting soft targets or figuring this shit out. You know what I'm saying? You don't even have it in you. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's built up frustration that you're only going to take out on your woman or your community Because the outlet of your real fucking anger is never gonna feel a breath of your wind. So what you gonna
Yeah.
do at the end of the day?
It's already being seen that the aggression is being taken out on other gang members, and people are losing their lives inside of, melanated neighborhoods. So more families are being ripped apart, traumatized, and
Right.
things of that nature. But if there's a conspiracy and it was somebody that's outside of the borders of Crenshaw, we should get an address or a location and a name, and that person, that conspiracy could turn into fact. Turn your conspiracies into a fact, and start with this fucking speculative information that it's empty. It doesn't serve any purpose other than confusion. So we need to address what the fuck is going on before we get into what it is that we think is going on. What we know is going on is, once again, somebody who is beneficial to us. Remember, they tried to kill Bob Marley in his fucking crib. It was the shower posse. It was niggas who looked just like him. Lumumba, he got set up by niggas who looked just like him. And they had somebody pushing them, but it was niggas that look just like him. We have a history. Tupac Shakur was murdered by another gang member who that literally looked just like him, his doppelganger. If you look at Orlando or Baby Lane's picture and Tupac Shakur's picture, they had the same unibrow and the eyes and whatnot, damn near. It was like his doppelganger. Biggie Smalls, now that the smoke is clear, was killed by a gang member. YN Schmelly or YN Melly, whose #1 song is about killing niggas around him, killed his 2 friends allegedly, and he's laid up. But his shit is going viral. So once again, if we miss the actual teaching moment, if we cannot extract the pearl from outside of the motherfucking oyster, if we cannot, because we pitching pearls. So if you cannot extract the pearl from these situations and you don't see it for what it really is versus for what you try to make it, then you're going to miss the picture and it's going to repeat itself. And we're not going to grow, and we're not going to evolve, and we're not going to heal as a community. Because keep in mind, he left instructions, basic instructions before leaving Earth. His time has come to an end. Whatever music that he finished, that's his legacy, and it will be revealed and it will be given to you. I think he got something with Khaled coming up. I saw them shooting a video the other day. So he is going to deliver the word. You know what I mean? His legacy is going to inspire, is going to change the actual trajectory of many people in the gangs. They're going to drop their flags and they're going to turn over a new stone based off of him being a martyr for niggas that were trying to get out of that life. He gave them a blueprint. He paved them a path. He showed them a way. And he made it real life, and he died young. And it's a lot of niggas that are trained and programmed to die young. That's not something that the hood is afraid of. So if you have somebody that's actually willing to live, and he has no fear of dying, because he knows if you walk in your purpose and you live in your purpose and you're there for the people, because even a dumb nigga is gonna figure out later on down the line that they immortalized this man, not because of his gang affiliation and not because he was perceived as a tough guy, but because of the fact that he was well balanced. And the 100 monkey theory takes effect when people are impacted. He impacted the hearts and minds of people who don't even know him. People are listening to his music the same way that when XXXTentacion made his transition, the same way that other rappers have made their transitions, and we do these eulogies, they're introduced to a large contingency of people who say to us, oh, damn, I never heard his music before. That shit hit differently now. How about that? Go listen to it. That shit hit differently. You understand? It sounds more prophetic. It has more meaning to it. It has more body to it now. Go and play it. The inspiration that he's espousing, it hits differently. You know what I mean?
So tomorrow, y'all, we'll be back in the building. Tough Talk Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna continue this conversation on grace and favor. And it's gonna be a classroom. You know what I'm saying? I don't miss the alley oops from the universe. These are teaching moments. And I'm gonna seize the moment and we're gonna get this information out. And to the people who uh probably the emotion tonight, the outpouring was a little too much for them. You feel me? To each his own. Come back through the mall. The vibration might be a little bit different, but you gotta understand what we're speaking to. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta understand where we're speaking from at the end of the day. You feel me? This is a very precarious situation. It puts our loved ones in harm's way by way of these conversations that are not rooted in reality or rooted in the principle of men who want to act out on the things that they say is dear to their hearts. These niggas don't show up with no security. These motherfuckers ain't knocking on the door or dropping phone calls. These niggas is not about that life, right? They're participating in fake nigga outrage for the likes and the views and all of the attention that comes along with this dialogue. But niggas are not really concerned. They don't give two shits. And you gotta call it for what it is, right? At the end of the day. You feel
Quick
me?
announcements before I depart. My Cash App is Phil Moreland, PHILMORELAND. I'll give everybody a shout out on Third Eye Thursday who sent the money today. My clothing line, Kings County Couture. We have new pieces for spring 19. Go and check us out. KINGZKOUNTY.bigcartel.com. All of these links are in the description box. They're all live links, hyperlinks that you could click on and take you right to the website. Our album, Twin the Album, we have 23 songs. Twin the Album. It's going to be a lot of
Coming up on a 1 year anniversary on April 4th of this year,
that's
which is a
right,
few days away.
which is
I
a
want to
few
say
days away.
something else about messianic force, you know what I'm saying? Because the numerological aspect, is something that we can't ignore. Somebody sent me his chart, and I saw nothing. I saw 22 degrees in every single chart. I have to double check with the Raw Khus of the world and the rest of the cosmophysicians and see exactly what this chart was about, if it was real chart. But the chart that I was sent, he had 44s in every house. You know what I'm saying? The 32-degree aspect or the 33-degree aspect of his age. He had 3.3 million followers on Instagram, 33-degree parallel line of Los Angeles. Um, what also jumped out to me that was significant was the fact that historians who have traced the murder of Jesus, they said that if it was a historical event, it would have took place on April 3rd, 33 AD during a blood moon, full moon eclipse,
Mm,
right? Jesus died during a blood moon on April 3rd, 33
mm,
AD. So even with Nipsey and his situation, you know what I'm saying, on the 31st, I believe, what's that, 4 days away from 4/4?
yeah.
You know what I mean? Of course, Los Angeles founded it, incorporated on April 4th. I think it was 1860. It's a 4/4 resonated town. 44 is dealing with blood. Even though he was banging that blue, once you really understand what the law of 44 is, you understand that connection to the red and the blue. It's an amazing narrative. It's one hell of a mythology. It's a story that transcends time. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna put these pieces together and do justice to his life and his legacy, and not let it devolve into a place of conspiracy that sees no power and no redress in action. You feel
That's
me?
right. And
We're going to retrieve it from the fucking conspiracy bin where these niggas will fucking bring you down to the feather underworld and do nothing with your legacy but shower you in fucking,
empty
tinfoil
praises.
conspiracies. Yeah. Did
Yeah.
not uplift you in power. That man left something for as, in terms of a blueprint for people to get up out of the sunken place.
So, hold your charge. I know it's hard for our people to hold our charge because there's so much distractions and so many things going on and whatnot. But, like I said, altars are very important, especially during this month, of April and whatnot, going into the summer. Start to build up your altars. Tonight, you could go on mypowerpieces.com. We're going to be basically allowing, we're going to be sharing some of these sacred stones, some of these precious stones with the family. I'm talking about? We're going to have that for sale for the family. So you could begin to build up your altar with rocks from Gibraltar and other precious pieces. And then later on, we will be up in them caves making it happen. But that's a whole nother story. Next week, I'm going to be on a radio station with 1 million listeners, a public radio station in Connecticut. It's called Moving Target Radio. It's going to be on Saturday. I believe that's April 6th, early in the morning. Later on that day, I'll be in Baltimore, vending, pop-up, Kings County pop-up. It's going to be an ADOS debate with Brother Jabari, I believe.
Okay. They saying that the name of the murder suspect in Son's case is Eric Holder.
Are you serious?
The holder of the keys. Shout out to 19. I see you in the chat room.
Shout out to 19 Keys in the building. Eric Holder. Look at that.
Eric Holder.
And Nipsey's first name, Elias.
What does it mean?
It means God. Let me make sure. Hold on. If anybody knows the meaning of Elias, drop it in the chat. Yeah. That is his first name.
This episode is also sponsored by thezorb.com. You can utilize the words blue pill in the checkout for coupon for sizable discounts. Thezorb.com, get your diodes for your phones. Yeah, whoever posted that in the chat that I just seen, email me so I can follow through what you're talking about.
Yeah. So Kings County is the clothing. Twin the album is the music. For the precious stones, My Power Pieces, we will have all of the links in our description. You feel me? We want to definitely say thank you. People are giving me the name of the meaning of his first name. Emmaus, gift from God. Emmaus is gift from God. So that was our brother's first name. His first name, his government is Emmaus. That was the title that he chose when he reincarnated to fulfill his purpose on this earthly plane. And he has made, he's joined a contingency of powerful ancestors in the spiritual realm, in the ancestor plane. But he was carrying that. Go and do some research on the Neguses. You know what I'm saying? What is the book? You were just reading that book too, the Ethiopian book, Blue Pill.
An Ethiopian book that I was just reading?
Yeah, about the Christ energy. Yeah, so his name is sent by God.
Yeah.
The tattoo, it said God will rise. The tattoo on his face is God will rise. You know what I'm talking about? Like, so he's not just a regular.
The Kebra Nagas.
The Kebra Nagas. Go and
the
read
book
that.
Where I explain to people. Remember the Ethiopian Coptic book that I have that shows you the picture of Mike that's synonymous with the picture that he took when he was in his when he took his mugshot, and it said that this Michael has 4 brothers and he was beloved at the age of 5 and he turns into an archangel. I got all of the motherfucking documentation that speaks about the prophecy of Mike.
So if
Mike's story ties into Nip's story, ties into this whole 10-year anniversary. Obama's gonna be popping this year. You know what I'm saying? You already seen him with the 44 jacket on, but it's gonna be so much activity in this 10-year window, 10-year cycle. Blue energy, 44 energy, Crip energy, Democrat energy. You're just gonna see an explosion.
Red energy, blue energy, blood energy, Crip energy. That's this year, y'all. This is the bookend. This is
The
the
20,
Jubilee
yeah.
year. Pay
20.
attention and stop getting caught up in the distractions. This is a power season. This is power. And I ain't talking about that nigga who kissed Beyonce, nigga. It's power time. It's time to turn the fuck up.
Right? His name is
If he
Shitty
said go
Cuz.
hard, now it's time to go harder. Be a legend like Nipsey. You know what I'm talking about? So you could get you a crib in Poughkeepsie. You
Shitty
feel
Cuz.
me? Niggas could turn
Where is
green
the
like Bill Bixby. Stop. I got bars. What are you doing?
yeah. What orifice of the body is the excretion made out of? Where do you excrete matter from?
Where you excrete matter from?
Yeah.
Uranus?
Yeah, that's your lower extremities are part of that red chakra energy. You know what I'm saying? Dude that killed him was called Shitty Cuz. You know,
Shitty Cuz. That was his name.
yeah, that's his name. Just going back into this bars that you had about the tethered aspect of the ADOS, the Negro, to his nigger self, to his lower self, to his
It's the
root
nigga
chakra.
problem. And Taj Tariq did the lecture called The Nigga Factory.
So did speech. Yeah, speech has a
oh yes,
the
with
nigger factory.
Jason Orr.
Yeah, with Jason Orr.
Salute
Google
to
it,
them.
fam.
What's
It's
the name
called the
of it?
nigger factory.
Go and watch that, y'all, on YouTube. That's must see TV. The
Now
Nigga
we're gonna
Factory.
leave this by reading a chapter from a study that Patrick Moynihan issued called the Negro Family. He did this in the 60s. This was the precursor to what they put together when they put together the civil rights legislation.
Can you
Chapter
show the
4,
screen?
huh? Yes, I can.
Are you able to share the screen?
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
Chapter 4 is called the pathology, the tangle pathology, right? Or the tangle of pathology, right? Can you see it?
I can see it. You good.
Okay, let me
You
read it.
geeky.
That the Negro American has survived at all is extraordinary. A lesser people might simply have died out, as indeed others have. That the Negro community has not only survived, but in this political generation has entered national affairs as a moderate, humane, and constructive national force is the highest testament to the healing powers of the democratic ideal and the creative vitality of the Negro people. But it may not be supposed that the Negro American community has not paid a fearful price for the incredible mistreatment to which it has been subjected over the past 3 centuries. In essence, the Negro community has been forced into a matriarchal structure which, because it is out of line with the rest of the American society, seriously retards the progress of the group as a whole and imposes a crushing burden on the Negro male and, in consequence, on a great many Negro women as well. There is, presumably, no special reason why a society in which males are dominant in family relationships is to be preferred to a matriarchal arrangement. However, it is clearly a disadvantage for a minority group to be operating on one principle while the great majority of the population and the one with the most advantages to begin with is operating on another. This is the present situation of the Negro. Ours is a society which presumes male leadership in private and public affairs. The arrangements of society facilitate such leadership and reward it. A subculture such as that of the Negro American, in which this is not the pattern, is placed at a distinct disadvantage. Here, an earlier word of caution should be repeated. There is much evidence that a considerable number of Negro families have managed to break out of the tangle of pathology and to establish themselves as stable, effective units living according to the patterns of American society in general. E. Franklin Frazier has suggested that the middle class Negro American family is, if anything, more patriarchal and protective of its children than the general run of such families. Given equal opportunities, the children of these families will perform as well or better than their white peers. They need no help from anyone and ask none. While this phenomenon is not easily measured, one index is that middle class Negroes have even fewer children than middle class whites, indicating a desire to conserve the advances they have made and to ensure that their children do as well or better. Negro women who marry early to uneducated laborers have more children than white women in the same situation. Negro women who marry at the common age for the middle class to educated Negro women who marry at the common age for the middle class to educated men doing technical or professional work have only 4/5 as many children as their white counterparts. It might be estimated, let me pull this down. It might be estimated that as much as half of the Negro community falls into the middle class. However, the remaining half is in desperate and deteriorating circumstances. Moreover, because of housing segregation, it is immensely difficult for the stable half to escape from the cultural influences of the unstable one. The children of middle class Negroes often as not must grow up in or next to the slums, an experience almost unknown to white middle class children. They are therefore constantly exposed to the pathology of the disturbed group and constantly in danger of being drawn into it. It is for this reason that the propositions put forth in this study may be thought of as having a more or less general application. In a word, most Negro youth are in danger of being caught up in the tangle of pathology that affects their world, and probably a majority are so entrapped. Many of those who escape do so for one generation only. As things now are, their children may have to run the gauntlet all over again. That is not the least vicious aspect of the world that white America has made for the Negro. Obviously, not every instance of social pathology afflicting the Negro community can be traced to the weakness of family structure. If, for example, organized crime in the Negro community were not largely controlled by whites, there would be more capital accumulation amongst Negroes.
Huh.
Do you hear what they telling niggas?
Hmm.
And therefore probably more Negro business enterprises. If they're saying that the whole formalities of Negro enterprises is tethered to the Negro underworld, right?
Facts. Organized.
Organized. This is understood in Americanism. Why is no fucking leaders having this conversation? Why is rapping niggas telling you about mob ties, but not merging that shit with black business? When black business in America, especially in Harlem, was run by the support and the assistance of the Negro underworld, where many melanated organizations that deal with community reform and reformation, right? Grassroots organizations was getting envelopes from gangsters to pay them bills. Right? Many Nation of Islam members told me how the nation kept his wheels spinning in the envelopes that they were sending to Elijah Muhammad. And niggas was doing hella dirt to get clean.
That's right.
And there's no shame in that. If through alchemy, you know what I'm saying? You turn a motherfucking base lead into gold.
Base lead into gold. They wash their hands. They wash the blood of their hands with dollars. That's what these philanthropists do. That's what the mob does. That's what the nationalities of the Irish, the Italian,
all right,
the
yeah.
Jew.
Let's finish this up though. Not to cut you.
Let's finish it.
If it were not for the hostility and fear many whites exhibit towards Negroes, they in turn would be less afflicted by hostility and fear and so on. I don't know if you just heard that. If it were not for the hostility and fear many whites exhibit towards Negroes, they in turn would be less afflicted by hostility and fear and so on. There is no one Negro community. There is no one Negro problem. There is no one solution. Nonetheless, at the center of the tangle of pathology is the weakness of the family structure. Once or twice removed, it will be found to be the principal source of most of the abhorrent, inadequate, or antisocial behavior that did not establish but now serves to perpetuate the cycle of poverty and deprivation. It was by destroying the Negro family under slavery that white America broke the will of the Negro people. Although that will has reasserted itself in our time, it is a resurgence doomed to frustration unless the viability of the Negro family is restored. This was written in the mid 60s.
Facts. This is policy now, family. This is
This
called the
became
Moynihan
policy.
Report. This is the Moynihan Report. Go and look it up. This is policy. This is followed to this day.
Why is the master teachers not teaching this? Why is this not required reading amongst Negro boys and girls? This is only the fucking tip of the iceberg in this report, my niggas. Matriarchy. A fundamental fact of Negro American family life is the often reverse role of husband and wife. And this is from a fucking Democrat, the Democrat senator of New York City.
Yep, Daniel Moynihan.
Or the state of New York, for that matter. His vacated seat is what Hillary goddamn occupied when he died off. Talk black to me. Daniel Moynihan. I grew up hearing this motherfucker's name every day on the radio. I couldn't stand that Irish bastard. Now I know why. So he was the one who created benign neglect that Tyreek be talking about. It was from this report that benign neglect was created. Once they created the motherfucking Great Society came out of this report where welfare came from, Medicaid,
Social
Medicare,
Security.
SSI, nigga, Job Corps.
Yep.
Did I say food stamps? That's in welfare. Came out of this shit. And they said when niggas couldn't tweak this, and they said when niggas couldn't do what they were supposed to do with the dope, they said there was no helping these niggas pull the plug. Right? That's when the Bronx looked like the fucking Bronx in the mid 70s, where hip hop was born from, because there was plugs already pulled. They pulled the plug on niggas. Hip hop saved niggas.
The they was dead.
How about that?
Dead. They flatlined them.
Niggas don't want to have that conversation. Hip hop saved niggas.
Puerto Ricans and blacks. How about it?
With some help from their Jewish allies. Don't leave them out. Don't leave them out. Shout out to Johnny Sipes. Matriarchy. A fundamental fact of Negro American family life is the often reverse roles of husband and wife. Robert O. Blood Jr. and Donald M. Wolfe, in a study of Detroit families, note that Negro husbands have unusually low power, and while this is characteristic of all low-income families, the pattern pervades the Negro social structure. The cumulative result of discrimination in jobs, the segregated housing, and the poor schooling of Negro men. In 44% of the Negro families studied, the wife was dominant as against 20% of white wives, whereas the majority of white families are equalitarian. The largest percentage of Negro families are dominated by the wife. The matriarchal pattern of so many Negro families reinforces itself over the generations. This process begins with education. Although the gap appears to be closing at the moment, for a long while, Negro females were better educated than Negro males, and this remains true to this day for the Negro population as a whole. This was written in the mid 60s.
To this day. Before they infiltrated with the feminism. How about
Before motherfucking Claudine.
How about it?
I'm doing my Umar voice. Before Claudine.
So yeah.
I ain't gonna finish. Y'all got to get this cloth for yourself. Right? It's called the Negro Family. Google it.
So
it's bars upon bars.
Yes. So we can identify the quote unquote hidden hand. We don't have to say speculatory, we don't have to accuse anybody from a speculatory standpoint. We could submit this in a court of law. This could be attached to a lawsuit. This could be attached to the ADOS reparations case. You understand? There was a concerted effort, and it was policy that was mandated by social engineers and social scientists and political scientists, and this report turned into policy, turned into plan, turned into 100-year plan. This is with the think tanks. You understand? I believe somebody said on Twitter that the sister from the ADOS belonged to a right-wing think tank. So this is what these think tanks come up with. This is how they implement their plans. This is how they infiltrate. They come up with movements and groups and all kind of stuff based off of these reports, based off of the projection that they have of niggas' bodies on the futures and commodity market.
Let's be clear, because I read somebody's comment. They said the mob sent their children to school. There's an understanding amongst ethnic groups in this country that you do dirt for the first generation. There's a necessity and a need for underworld activity for you to get a crack at the finances that a fucking 9 to 5 in a blue collar position is not going to allow you to accumulate the funds necessary, right, to catch up. Nigerians do it, Armenians do it, the Yemenis do it, the Dominicans did it, the fucking Pakistanis do it. Everybody got raw this, raw that, dope tar, pure white Bolivian.
Let me explain what organized
fentanyl, right? Hold on. So everyone does dirt, but it's called upward mobility. You ethnic cleanse yourself. You wash your hands. You send the second generation to education. The people that came here for the dream of Americanism understood the power of education. The Caribbeans, the niggas that the ADOS are trying to cut off from their fucking claims because they came here and jugged in one generation. We lived in a neighborhood amongst them. We grew up in Flatbush, Brooklyn, Jamaicans, Panamanians, Trinidadians, Haitians, right? Any and everybody, Bajans, Cruisians, right? The people came here and bust their ass and send their children to school. Their children went to school and got in good positions. So when the wealth needs to be transferred in this generation, they don't go from a medium household of 80 racks to 44 or 45 racks, wondering why when all of the fucking prices have now hacked, but your earning has cut in half, why you can't afford to live in your own neighborhood. You ain't go from a family that was making 80 racks as the median household income to 160. You didn't pick up no trades that would afford you a position in the future where your earnings was motherfucking counted for. What do you niggas do at the end of the day other than cut hair? Right? What do black people have a motherfucking stronghold on as a block? Right? Mexicans could say, nigga, we lay roof. That's what we do. Italians could say, nigga, we plumbers. Jews could say that we accountants, we X, Y, and Z. What is nigga synonymous with?
You said cutting hair. You're wrong, bro.
I mean, outside of that, because that's already established. Outside of cutting hair, what else is niggas synonymous with?
Selling drugs.
Because the weed man, even the weed man no more. The dispensary done took, they all in niggas' pockets, right? They cut your bag in half. You got an envelope right now. You not getting the bag selling weed, nigga. Stop it. Entertainment, right? Black diamonds. The exports, the niggas don't have no participation in. Hip hop was your reparations, nigga. It was multi-trillion dollars, and niggas ain't have no skin in the fucking game to this day. Niggas don't have no stake in it. You don't have a billionaire yet.
We haven't produced
and it's a multi-trillion dollar fucking industry, and you don't have a billionaire that you can speak of yet. And Dr. Dre and them niggas was around when Freeway Ricky Ross was selling crack in Los Angeles, and them niggas don't have $1 billion to account for.
No, they don't.
Fuck out of here.
And taxes can't be that bad.
If this is too much for you niggas, maybe you need to go to sleep. This might not be the broadcast for you, but we motherfucking, you know, some things that need to be addressed. I'm dropping bombs and all of that on myself tonight. God damn it. 10 fucking years.
They have not manifested, created, or elevated a melanated participant inside of hip hop culture to billionaire status, and Kylie Jenner kindly surpassed niggas with a whole face job and a makeup line. And in the 45 years of the existence of $1 trillion, I could bring the receipts to show you that hip hop is $1 trillion culture. It has cleared $1 trillion a few times around the world. That is a super fact, right? And the culture, coincidentally, this is a cooperative, correct? This is a collective, a collection of creators and entertainers and performers and everything, businessmen, but nobody who looks like us cleared $1 billion. And about 100 to 200, I might say 200 of them individually cleared $1 billion. How's that for some motherfucking numbers?
They got motherfuckers, they got others in hip hop that clear billions that we don't even know what they look like. We don't know who these niggas is.
Son,
right?
I'm
Supreme cleared $1 billion.
Of them, hundreds and hundreds of them. It may go in the thousands of others who have cleared a billy fucking with these goats out here. They done milked these cows. These niggas done took that cotton that these niggas picked in the projects and they spun that shit into gold because they basically cut the whole goddamn fucking lifeline from these entertainers and just hit them with a mechanical royalty, and the whole other everything else on that chain, they're claiming it for themselves. It is a monopoly. It is a cartel. You understand? And then they brought in streaming. That's an iller cartel. That's an iller monopoly. How many streams do a nigga have to clock in to equate for one album sale? About 100,000 or some shit. I don't have the number in front of me.
That's crazier than the fact that they was only getting pennies off of $20 sales or CDs.
When they got
you gotta get X and thousand amount. This shit just crazy, man.
When they got hip to the fact that they were getting 5 cents off of a $20 album, and nobody had the audacity to ask questions, while there were people down south popping their trunk, and in other places getting 100 racks a month, right? Because if you get a spill of 100 CDs and you sell them shits at $10, you have a stack of spill. So you don't have to know how to count to have 100 spills around you to make sure you're gonna knock off every single one of them and go get it. This is what people in the South was doing. So the people who was making 2 cents off of a $20 album.
So yeah, let's hear.
Couple 100,000 stashed at my mama's home.
Wait, let's hear the young guard. He's giving game. He's giving game right here, right? Years ago.
Play that
right
shit.
Here. Hold on. Let me bring this back real quick.
Relate to you, I can't if you's a fake nigga. But level 4 in the state, with your mistakes get you. Rap niggas, they just want to double date with you. Twit pick and show these hoes that they affiliate with you. Labels used to treating rappers like a slave, nigga. Starving artists, just be happy with your fame, nigga. Shit changed, now it's such a different game. All the niggas like myself is controlling everything. If you pay attention, see exactly what I mean. Fuck the middleman. I said that in 2003.
Come on now.
18, white Lincoln, chrome feet. Black 40 was my pillow every night I go to sleep.
Not Nip.
Niggas treat me like they OG. Holding on to every word that the Tiny Lope speaks. I had a vision that nobody else could see. Sold my shit to D-Mac, a little less than 10 G's. Brought my grocery bag of cash straight to Black Sam. He matched the nigga. Next day we went to Sam Ash. Bought a Pro Tools and a microphone. Studio was far from plush, but the lights was on. Couple 100,000 stashed at my mama's home. Real estate in Atlanta, but ain't nobody know. Back 11's in the safe, hidden in the flow.
Hold on. I'm gonna let the guard breathe. But you know, he's laying the blueprint step by step. You know what I'm saying? This is how I laid the foundation to become a fucking boss. I got rid of the middleman.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? I got rid of the middleman. To me, that's like his obituary song. That's Slauson and Crenshaw. That's actually where he made his transition. So Google that. Go into that flavor, y'all. That's the last song on the Crenshaw mixtape. But he has a short film attached to it. I'm going to drop the link. It's called Crenshaw and Slauson, True Story. You know what I mean? Like, the shit will have you in tears when you see the testimonials of all the people in this neighborhood that speak about what sort of a stand-up individual he was from day one and how he came back and put it into the community. This is even before he got the latest deal that he got, before he put the album out, when it was just mixtape Nip. You know what I'm saying? When he was fighting against being dropped by the label and just going back to his hood and got to rebuild his situation from the ground up. This is fucking hustle. He immortalized his last name. He hustled for that last name. Get rid of the middleman, boss up, get your product to a degree where your people are proud to pay. You know what I'm saying? Quality over quantity. Sell
That's real.
100 CDs for $100 to the big homie. Quantity over quality over quantity. You know what I'm saying? Become immortalized. With them 100 CDs that he sold, he outsold everybody else in the game because he immortalized himself with a fucking sales strategy. Legend.
That a
Out to
rapper
pay.
who could have sold 10 million albums could be envious of him and say, fam, you iller than me because I never got 100 for my work. I only
Yeah.
got 10.
So can I just let me just finish this song? So you know what I mean? Because the spirit is still on me. Like, let him breathe.
Yeah, let it breathe.
My bro did it like nobody that I've ever known. Screens on every wall with 16 camera angles, double pane, bulletproof glass, pushing past the haters. Cuban links and Rolexes, both check from Epic. This industry ain't got a likeness, but they gon' respect it. Built the label up from money we was saving up. No details to the statute of limitations up. Couple niggas got flipped trying to play with us. Demonstrations speak loud, so I ain't saying much. Wasn't charismatic, nigga. I don't play as much. This life is real when you live it in a place like us.
Like us.
Cracking smiles, now my face is stuck. Shell shocked to see how much they really hated us. Couldn't keep a kind heart. Get your hatred up. Street smarts, nigga, get your information up. Watching belly smoking blunts take to making puffs. One day I might have a house and car like Jamaican cuts. Credit slow back to stretch round, breaking up. Had to fight before we hustled,
And it made us tough.
Early 90s neighbors rooster used to wake us up. Mama had a bucket and a
Woo.
Shack, but we ain't make a fuss. Blue Cutlass, no license, 380 touch. 96 Capri, spoke too fast for saving up. And getting packed out if niggas try to fade with us. Crenshaw, Sloss, and true stories.
I met Nip and his homies, they was out here rapping and shit. They had their little studios and stuff. And when I met Nip, I walked through the studio and I asked him, man, why you ain't rapping? He told me, man, I ain't a part of their little crew. So I said, damn, what do we need? I just came home from the pen. My grandma was going to buy me a car. And Nip said, we need a G4 Macintosh. So instead of getting the car, I bought the Macintosh. We went to my great-grandmama's garage and we learned it. Started learning pushing buttons, doing it. The one thing about Nick, he was always busy. He always has the business side. You know, that's why it's all money in it. That's why he got his own label, because he's smart. He reads. You know, a lot of people want dreams, but they don't want to put their steps forward. So even after I went to the pen, after we got started, Nipsey kept full-fledged with it. You know, he was into the street life, gang banging, putting it down. And I used to be, I'm the big homie. I'm like, man, slow down, do your music. But nah, he had to go get his street creds, which he earned that. He 100% hood, neighborhood Nip. He ain't got no smut on his name. He ain't turned down no fades. Then his music, it speaks for itself. You know, he talented. You know, he got the business sense. You know, so, you know, all he had to do is weed through all the individuals that don't do nothing. You feel me? Nipsey like people that do something. Whatever it is, just do something. If you want to film, film. If you want to rap, rap. But you got to do something. So like I said, Nip, And I remember we used to sell CDs in front of that t-shirt shop before we even got it. It was empty. And we used to look in that shop and say, one day we're going to get this shop. And every day we'd grind it out. Some days I might make 700, and it might make 1,000 in the parking lot. You know, so from that day on, we always knew, because he gave me some discs to sell. I didn't know what to do with them damn discs. I'm fresh home from the pen. You know, and people started asking for them. So then I started selling them, started making money. One day I'm on Slauson and Crenshaw, Big Draws, Steve LaBelle. They rolled up on me. They said they wanted to hear some hood shit. So I took them up to the liquor store right up the street, got the hood shit. When I showed them Nip video, me and Nip video, their mouths dropped to the ground. And they've been on ever since. Then I come home 10 years later.
10 years.
And this is where we at. I went to the pen when it first started. And when I came home, we was in $1 million budget. That's when we was doing the video with the boy Lloyd. You know, so anybody that want to get into it, the first thing you got to do is quit talking about it, do it. You know what I'm saying? Take step for step to do it. You know, because Nip ain't no better than the next motherfucker. He just got better work ethics.
How about that?
You know what I'm saying? If you got good work ethics, you can make it happen. It don't matter where you from. He gonna represent this, because this is what we got. You know, but now he's the avenue. So youngsters nowadays ain't gotta sit around and bang and shoot guns. They can play football, basketball, rap, sing. You got more options. When we was coming up, we didn't have options. All we knew was gang bang. So he know how to gang bang business, and he talented. So, you know, thumbs up to my bro Nipsey, neighborhood.
Neighborhood.
Rest in peace, brother.
Rest in peace. Neighborhood. That's right. So as you can see, family, this one hits home. This one is personal, like, but this one is special. This one is, you know, this one is definitely a sign. The great divine speaks through signs, and he is gonna be his spirit and his legacy is gonna be very inspirational in the years to come. I can guarantee you that. And that Sabi documentary is gonna shift the paradigm. You understand? It's gonna shift the paradigm. And Baba Sabi is working his magic, and that's all I got to say for now. You know, stay tuned. Stay tuned, and you're gonna see something.
Yes, indeed. So, you know, I got a song that I want to leave y'all with. This is my favorite song in his catalog, which is, you know, that's a far stretch because I got a lot of favorites, you know what I'm saying? But this song just puts me in a meditative place that it always works. You know, Crenshaw was my favorite. See, it got me through a tough time. And
that's right.
Yeah, shout out to Majesty, shout out to Danny, shout out to Nadi. You know what I'm saying? We comprise Street Knowledge Media. We were a small media outfit at the advent of, you know, the YouTube era and social media 3.0. You know what I mean? And we met Nick and we fell in love with his energy, you know what I'm saying? And we made history. And it was a short run, but what came from it was monumental. And then came to Harlem, brought some of that information back to Harlem with me at a time when it was needed because these brothers was on the block. They had a message. And I saw how the inspiration and the information that came from Harlem made it all the way to beyond the 60s. So like I said, Nipsey would tell me that his OGs watch us. We got the cosign from in private, from the silent bosses to say, y'all fuck with them niggas, let them in. You know what I'm saying? And we was the very first ones to come and film the 60s, you know, for the Turned Up documentary. So I felt like I just owed it to consciousness, something that I helped start in '01 when the platform didn't exist. And that's disrespectful because York was out, 5%ers was out. I'm just saying the latest iteration of consciousness post new millennia, there was no platform nobody was doing nothing. The shit was dry bones. It was a dry valley. You know what I'm saying? I had an idea and I implemented it with Black Dot to get fucking Valentine in front of the youth, to get Bobby in front of the youth, to create a platform and a stage that when AA come home, you don't got to pick up pistols, right? Where fucking a nigga like I said could come in and talk to people with his weird ass, right? All of these things was implemented during that time, during that infancy fucking stage, the sacrifices that was made. And here we are today. Here we are. You feel me? And all of this has came up out of those sacrifices. You feel me? So the shit is very personal. It is very close to home, but it's more of a jubilation to me than anything. It's more of a celebration. It's more of a reminder that there's work to be done. You know what I'm saying? It's more of a motherfucking signal that we got miles to go, but we have covered a lot of motherfucking road. It's a marathon, baby. You dig
It's
what I'm
also a
saying?
victory lap.
It's also a victory lap. So I just wanna I just wanna close out with this song. Tough Talk Tuesday is gonna be back in the building tomorrow. We got a special program put together for y'all, You know what I mean? We're gonna continue with the education and the teaching and the platform, grace and favor. You know what I mean? We're gonna do what it needs to do. So if you got anything left to say, let us know, Red.
Nah, that's it. I see y'all at Third Out Thursdays. All right.
Yes, indeed. So this joint right here, this is called No Days Off. This is off the Crenshaw album. This is cut number 8. You know what I'm saying? And this is my favorite Nip track. You know what I mean? Like this is the shit that really inspires me when I feel like, yo, I don't know where I'm gonna pull that last piece from. You know what I'm saying? I put this motherfucking song on and it does something for my spirit. Like this is spiritual food for me. Real fucking talk. So I want to share this like all motherfucking artists. I'm sensitive about my shit. So please appreciate this. When you finish this, go turn on Pac, Life Goes On, and all of that. Like, these are the songs that we play in these moments to remind us how precious life is. You know what I mean? And how to bring back value to the living. I love you while you here. Let me give you your roses. Right? I love you, Red Pill.
Yeah, I love you too, Blue Pill.
Indeed.
Indeed.
So please, y'all, rock out to this. This is my joint right here. Rest in peace, Nick. We love you.
Salute, Nick.
All that stress on my brain, right? Poker face, I'm in the game, right? Need a week to think, maybe 8 nights, supplement the same in a straight flight. Let me cut on my phone, let me get in my zone, let me sit on myself, just leave a nigga alone. I'll be back in the field, got some rapping to do, got some stacking still running, got some rapping to do. Jokes to the side, niggas know that they ain't fucking with the flow of the vibe. Yo. Notice how it started out of flow before. The me and Rollo snap like Wade in the front. There's so many in your growth control. Hoes on the notch for the bros part bosh. And them out of 10 sweets because they know we the ones. Equity, nigga, what I'm chosen, of course. No 360s, clothing and tour. When I do drop on my dope ass niggas, and I told Jay niggas like I told them before. Got flow, got horse. Got no get more. Fuck hard, get yours, and the show just started. Nigga, hold your applause. Try to get to my spot. Look, you gotta go up floors. I was a 6 on stock. I was running through tires like chicks on tours. And if I'm at the game, you can bet your bottom dollar that I sit on floor. And if I'm at the fight, you can bet your bottom dollar sweat hit my boards. No loss. Won't take days off. We go so hard until we fall. Won't take no loss. Won't take days off. We go so hard until we fall. Nigga used to dream my reality to dream now. Nigga used to dream my reality to dream now. Living out my dream now. Living out my dream now. Sitting in the trap like damn, trying to turn a couple grams to a couple hundred grand. I grew up in the town, they don't make it out of. If you black, you don't live to see a man. You seen 21, you the one the lottery. Talking friends where the street stand. Take a lot from me, I washed up from a robbery. Now your name 4657239 B-State property. Yeah, you had a dream, now you living out a nightmare. You almost made a little nigga, you was right there. Now you released that, feeling like yeah. And it's quite clear, all you needed was a little bit of guidance. In your household, it was just silence. You was your own mother and your father. How the hell you supposed to know what to do when nobody showed you the rope? All they showed you was systems and dope. Game flags in the land with no hope. Wherever you finna have in a different hood. Figure it out when they still want you in the hood. Your own homies know what you living good. Niggas for themselves get it understood. It's just a playground full of moon swings. Die for the color of your shoestrings. Wish they had a different way to do things. You either had a rap book or had a hoop dream. Else you got no slugs. Me and this young boss. Never taking no losses. Check the garments, nigga, life marvelous. Won't take no loss. Won't take days off. We go so hard until we fall. Won't take no loss. Won't take days off. We go so hard until we fall. Nigga used to dream my reality to dream now. Nigga used to dream my reality to dream now. Living out my dream now. Living out my dream now.
Yes, indeed, y'all.
Yes. What's the name of that song again?
No Days Off. That's
No
track
Days
number
Off.
8
Okay.
off of the Crenshaw mixtape. You know what I'm saying? I highly suggest that you stream that album. It's one of his best pieces of work, bodies of work. Of course, if you never heard Victory Lap, go and listen to Victory Lap. It's a meditation. It's an audio meditation that came out last year, February 16th, 2/16, the same day the Black Panther hit theaters. Okay, you will not be
disappointed.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the classic.
So yeah, y'all. Peace, love, and light. Thank you for journeying with us this evening on this classical episode. You know, just hear us out. You know what I'm saying? Everything that we said was facts.
Yeah, look it up.
Look it up. All right. Until the next time, tomorrow, Tough Talk Tuesdays. Peace, y'all.
Peace.